Thanks for tuning in to the MMA Roundtable. It's January 17th, 2013. This week we got a bunch to break down. We have the Strikeforce card this past Saturday. I want to talk about that main card. And also had a bit of news this week in the UFC, as the Strikeforce and the UFC are now officially together. Lots to talk about there. Also, we have another UFC card this weekend in Brazil, UFC on FX. Going to talk about that. So let's do it. Big shout out to our listeners as always. We really are taken back by all the positive support we've gotten from everybody, so we really appreciate that. This is the MMA Roundtable. It's myself and Chris from the MMA Podcast, Ray and Patrick from MMA Mental, Ramses from the Word on the Street podcast, and our buddy Dave, who doesn't have a podcast. You can listen to this show. You can listen to this show every Thursday from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern, 4 to 6 Pacific. Ray, you have any MMA Mental plugs to throw out there?
Yeah, absolutely. We've me and Patrick did a great show last night. I've just published it now, so it's out there. We had 3 guests on last night, so it's, you can check that out on our site www.mmamental.com. It's also on iTunes as well. The 3 guests we spoke to last night, we had Derek Brunson on, and he talked to us about the Chris Lieben fight and taking it on short notice, and that was a big opportunity for him. And he also talked a little bit about Kendall Grove, which was quite interesting, because he actually tried to get Kendall Grove back in the UFC, so that was quite an interesting interview. Then we spoke to Scott Holtzman, who's headlining Extreme Fighting Championship in 3-4 weeks, so that was interesting to see. He's an up-and-coming fighter, he's undefeated. All of his wins are by stoppage, and it's his first time headlining their card as well. So that was pretty fun to chat with him, and he's definitely one to look out for. And then we had on Tough Smash's runner-up Bradley Scott, who I spoke to a few weeks ago with regards to Tyson Fury, but it was great chatting with him as well. He went into detail about his time in the house, talked about his incident with his diary, about people reading his diary. It was really good, and we're obviously, I'm not sure who we've got up for next week, but yeah, check out this week's podcast. Also, we're starting to break news in MMA Mental as well. We're getting stories out there before some of the biggest sites, so come and check us out for all the latest MMA news as well.
That shit is MMA Mental. Ramses, you have any plugs for Word on the Street? What's new going on with your podcast?
MMA Mental. But yeah, I'll keep it short. The Word on the Street podcast. Just follow me on Twitter is the best way to keep up with what goes on. My podcast is so random. It's here or there. You don't know if it's coming or going. It's not till Ron just says. But last night, had the pleasure of interviewing Connor Hewen. He was actually my first interview, guys. I did it. I got a fucking legitimate MMA fighter interview. First one under my belt. It felt damn good. Yeah, and he actually broke the news that Zuffa did actually finally. The UFC, Dana White, Fertitta Brothers, they actually come through, pay for all of his surgery costs.
Nice.
So that nightmare is over for him. And then he talked about, just some other UFC shit. The video is actually uploading to YouTube right now, so just follow the Jimmy Show on Twitter. You'll see that link later on. But it's a pleasure being on the MMA podcast, guys. Thank you so much. Keep it going.
Yeah, for sure. Really quick question about that. Did he mention if any of the people or any of the money that people chipped into the effort, if that would be given back because Zuffa's paying for everything, or?
No, actually, I thought about asking him that, but I get the feeling that he had just found out hours earlier, so he probably doesn't even know what the fuck he's gonna do. So yeah, he didn't even mention that. I'm sure. I mean, if it doesn't go... the thing is, Zuffa is paying for the surgery costs, but they're not paying for his rehab. So my guess is that, and I agree, if he wants it, that money should go to his rehab costs, because that's going to be some serious shit. So yeah, I hope that's not even an issue.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was gonna say I would be happy to pay for his rehab, but if Zuffa was footing the bill for everything, oh my $10 back, damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Chris and I do the MMA podcast, our podcast, every Wednesday, 9 to 11 Eastern, 6 to 8 Pacific. Just yesterday, we had Chad George on the podcast. He's the star in the acclaimed documentary Occupation Fighter, which is available on Netflix for instant streaming. Definitely check that out if you haven't seen it yet. Chad was really awesome, came and chatted with us about 30, 40 minutes about life after the documentary, his career. He actually doesn't have a fight coming up because he's having back surgery next month. So we're going to check in with him again after surgery when he's got a fight lined up. He said he's aiming for that UFC bantamweight division. So that was really fun to chat with him. It's already up on iTunes. We'll get both the full episode and the clip of the interview on Chad George on YouTube tonight. The phone lines aren't open tonight, unfortunately, due to a little bit of technical issues, but you can tweet us and we'll read your tweets live on the air. We actually had some tweets yesterday on the MMA podcast, so hopefully we get some more feedback from you guys. You can tweet us at MMA Mental or at the MMA podcast, depending whether you wanted my lesbian voice to read it out loud or Ray's silky British voice to read it out loud. Probably tweet at MMA Mental. Ray, I'll pass it on to you. You don't have Fight Busters this week, but you do have a different kind of guessing game, correct?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I thought we'd do something a little bit different this week because we've not been getting many responses for Fight Busters, and I think my mind's just too warped for people. So I thought we'd try something a little bit different. As I'm sure we're all aware, all being the hardcore MMA fans that we are, there's a UFC event this weekend in Brazil, UFC on FX7, which is obviously the Balfour versus Bisping event. Now, to win this competition, you can win a prize from our sponsors from UK Fightwear. What you need to do is, before the event happens on Saturday, you need to either tweet tweet at MMA Mental or at the MMA Podcast, and you need to predict the KO of the night, the submission of the night, and the fight of the night for the 3 UFC bonuses this weekend. You can also email mmamental@hotmail.com, but they need to be in before the event kicks off on Saturday. And if we get a winner, if anyone gets all 3 of them right, we'll do a draw and we'll give out a prize next week.
Definitely. So tweet Ray at MMA Mental. Let them know what you think the award winners will be and win some cool swag. The story I wanted to lead off with tonight, it's kind of sad for some. I'm sure everyone's really glad that these fighters are coming over to the UFC, but it's the end of Strikeforce. This past Saturday's Strikeforce was the last event in Strikeforce history. Rest in peace. But what was your favorite memory from Strikeforce? Mine was that comeback, Henderson versus Fedor. Dan on his back, leaping up and punching Fedor from the back and finishing that fight. There were a ton of great moments in Strikeforce history. What were your favorites, Ray?
It's so hard to pick a favourite because, like you said, there was so much that went on in that promotion. I'm just running through things that jumped out at me, but I remember obviously with the heavyweight tournament, and I remember how disappointed I was when Alistair Overeem pulled out because we were all looking forward to, seeing Overeem go on and probably win that tournament. And this guy come in that I didn't really know a lot of, certainly didn't recognise the name, Daniel Cormier, never really heard of him, and just from nowhere he goes and blasts to Antonio Silva, and then you kind of know that he's serious. But then watching him fight against Josh Barnett and actually get Josh Barnett up above his head and slam him on his own head. How does a man slam at someone the size of Josh Barnett? But there was so much. I mean, obviously Nick Diaz versus Paul Daly was crazy. You had Ronda Rousey. There's just so much. And you got to give credit to Scott Coker as well, because he did take them from being this small regional promotion to be, in the end, becoming the second biggest MMA promotion on the planet behind UFC.
Yeah, we talked about this last night, and I guess I'm just going to go ahead and say my favorite trio of moments were the defeats of Fedor. I've never been a fan of the guy. I think he's just beyond overhyped. Spent most of his career crushing cans, and compared to the crop of heavyweights today, compared to the guys that he fought, I never thought he was that good, and I felt really vindicated to see him lose. Now, it's not on a personal level. I mean, nothing like that, but I just kind of felt like my intuition was right because I never saw him going too far against top competition.
Oh boy, Chris is one of those guys. It's all good. I'm always pro Fedor. But anyhow, my favorite moment had to be when Verdun sub Fedor. That was just crazy. I don't think no one saw that coming. Even though it was possible, but everyone just thought that Fedor would just run through him. He knocks him down in the opening in seconds and then gets, tapped out. Shit was nuts.
I gotta agree, man. Yeah, definitely. A Fedor moment is at the top of my list. I think Jake nailed it. When Dan Henderson knocked out Fedor in round 1. I mean, that was like literally the first time that I actually I paid money to get the Showtime channel on my fucking Time Warner cable bill. All right, I paid money for that, just for that fight, just to see that happen, just to see Dan Henderson do it to Fedor, and he did. It was worth every fucking penny. I wish I had canceled my fucking Showtime subscription immediately afterward. I've been paying the bill, too lazy to cancel ever since, but that was a good one. Dan Henderson versus Fedor, the domination, just proving everybody wrong. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
For P Money, my favorite Strikeforce moment was the Gina Carano versus Chris Cyborg Santos fight. That was a big fight, a big moment for Strikeforce that really put Strikeforce on the map. It really began to put women's MMA on the map, and it was a good fight. I remember I was at a little kickback with some friends. We had about 10, 15 people over there. We were all watching the fights. It was a great card. All the Fedor moments, all the Dan Henderson moments are all awesome, but I'd have to go with the Carano Cyborg fight is my number one Strikeforce moment.
Yeah, and that fight, along with Tate versus Rousey, which was another Strikeforce fight, probably laid the foundation for women's MMA to get into the UFC, which obviously is a huge move in MMA history. So let's get straight to the finale card, and I guess we'll go from the bottom to the top on the main card because all of them were pretty notable. In the first fight of the main card, you had Ronaldo Jacare Souza taking on Ed Herman, coming over from the UFC. It was the only time a UFC fighter had come over to fight in Strikeforce, and he did lose to Jacare in the first round, 3 minutes in. Herman will along with Jacare be coming into the UFC, and Jacare is really one of the top guys people have been wanting to see in the UFC for a while. So what's next for him in the UFC middleweight division? We were throwing around names last night. A lot of middleweights are sort of tied up in fights. Obviously, you have Lombard and Okami, you have Belfort and Bisping, but a few guys are freed up. Costa Philippou, obviously at the top of the ladder, you have guys like Chris Weidman and Luke Rockhold. What do you think is next for Jacare now that he's officially in the UFC's middleweight division?
It's a simple answer for me, man. A guy that's on a decent win streak, who's large and an explosive athlete who'd be able to deal with his grappling. My money is on Francis Carmont.
Yeah, I would like him just wait it out for some of these matches to go out. I want to see him get the winner of the Okami Lombard fight. Him and Lombard would just be a great fight to see. I'm hoping that that's what we'll end up seeing.
Yeah, this guy, he definitely he took out a fucking UFC guy. Just that earns you some fucking street cred in my book. He was impressive. I hadn't really been a big fan, or I didn't even know that much about him, about Jacare beforehand. But yeah, he took out a guy from the UFC. That's good enough for me. I don't care who they give him. I'll watch that fight, and I'm pretty sure he's going to devastate again. Hell yeah.
It's Jacare's for real. It's as simple as that. I think people have obviously watched Strikeforce, have known he's real for a long time, and I think as well. I think sometimes there's a little bit too much hype put on the fact someone's in the UFC. There is guys outside the UFC that are just as good. They just haven't made it there yet, or they're in another big promotion. But for Jacare, I mean, the middleweight division. I'll tell you what. I'm so excited that these Strikeforce guys are finally forever. I've wanted it so much for such a long time. And some of the most exciting times in UFC have been when they merged with Pride, when they merged with WEC, and now we're getting again with Strikeforce. So, yeah, I am a little bit excited. But yeah, Jacare, there's so many guys at middleweight. A name of someone who I think he's out injured at the minute, but I don't know when he's due back. But he's a top middleweight. He's coming off a loss. But Mark Munoz would be a good fight. I think Jacare versus Mark Munoz. Back to you, Jake.
Oh, yep, you're right. Sorry about that. Yeah, so...
Key Money's coming back in, by the way. I don't know if that matters.
Yeah, I don't think we heard him weigh in on it. I guess if he's being tapped back in now. Yep, there he is. Patrick, you want to put in your 2 cents on Jacare getting over Ed Herman, and what do you think's next for him in the UFC?
Yeah, I think big things are next for Jacare. He's definitely a solid talent. He's got all the tools, great Muay Thai striking, great submission game. It'll be sweet to see what he does. I can't really speak to what's next. I'm sure it's probably decent level competition.
For sure, yeah. So we had that fight go down. Actually, another fight I didn't throw into the run sheet. I overlooked it, but I'll just cover it, and we'll go in the same order as this previous topic. Gegard Mousasi defeating Mike Kyle, also a first round submission, a rear naked choke. Sort of the same question. What's next for Gegard in the UFC? I think he goes up against a title gatekeeper in the light heavyweight division. I don't think he goes up quite yet against a guy like a Dan Henderson, a Lyoto Machida, Alexander Gustafsson, but maybe a fight against Phil Davis or Forrest Griffin for him next. What do you think about that, Chris?
Well, I think that Phil Davis is a brilliant idea. Whoever came up with that is super smart.
I think you came up with it yesterday on the MMA podcast.
Yes, I did. Yeah, I think that, like we have seen in the past, he kind of struggles against top flight wrestlers. He does well. He doesn't get finished nor dominated, but he gets controlled like he did against King Mo. I think Phil Davis coming off of that win and kind of being inactive, much like Gegard has been, I'd like to see that fight a lot because Phil has improved his submission game, although his striking looks rusty. I think that would be an excellent test near top 10 for Mr. Mousasi.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, actually, to have him fight Phil Davis. Makes a lot of sense. Phil Davis is, starting to look better again after that loss to Rashad. Definitely would be great. It sucks that Rampage's time with the UFC is done because that would be another good fight to see him fight.
Yeah, whoops, sorry, 1 second. Sorry. Now I actually know who the fuck Mousasi is, man. Like I said, you guys even mentioned yesterday, I was listening on the podcast that you were amazed that I didn't know who Gegard was. But I gotta tell you, I had no idea who the fuck he was. Why was that? Because he's not in the UFC, obviously. But now I know who the fuck he is. Round 1 fucking finish. That was impressive. I did take your word for it that he was a badass, but I got to see it with my own fucking eyes. What's next for him? Just the fucking same as fucking Souza Souza, however the fuck you pronounce it. Doesn't matter to me. Sueza, whatever. I just want to see them fight again in the UFC. We're gonna see it. Now it's time for the big leagues, and I see both of them actually doing pretty good, taking out some fucking big names. Hell yeah. Word on the street.
Woo woo, word on the street. I'm feeling what Ramses is putting down today. I agree that Gegard, he's legit, and it's good to see these Strikeforce fighters coming in with legit skills, and a lot of these guys are going to be serious threats. Mousasi, we've seen him be a little lackadaisical sometimes in some of his fights. I think that's the only thing. His biggest foe is himself and his own mindset and his own output. He's got all the talent in the world, and hopefully he'll bring it. He'll bring some fire with it. As far as who he fights next, assuming he goes to 205, shoot, I like him against just about anybody. I don't think there's a boring matchup they could make for Mousasi at 205 or 185 for that matter. So, I can't wait to see him get in the UFC.
Hey, Patrick, really quick, before we hit our next topic, maybe restart your phone or something because your mic's coming through a little rough.
I could try phoning him and see if that works better. I can patch him in from my end.
Maybe just, I don't know how complicated that is. If you could do it, sure, yeah.
I've got the credits set up. If
All right,
Patrick hangs up,
Oh, that's
let me
doable.
just give my
That's
views on
doable.
Musashi because I haven't given my views yet, and then I'll ring Patrick back.
okay. Well,
Right.
all right.
Okay, so going up on the subject of just talking about then, I'm not overly keen on the Phil Davis fight just because I remember seeing Musashi fight against King Mo, and it just wasn't a competitive fight. I mean, he just couldn't deal with the wrestling, and I think Davis is a better wrestler than King Mo, so I wouldn't be overly keen on that fight. But you talked a little bit about Rampage. Obviously, that's not going to happen, but maybe if Rampage loses his next fight, which hopefully he will, he can face Glover Teixeira instead. That'd be a good fight. Glover versus Gegard Mousasi. I think that'd be a really good fight.
For sure, yeah. Yeah. Gegard's definitely got a pretty bright future. He's another one of these dudes who I'm really looking forward to see come over to the UFC. A guy who it's unsure if he's going to come to the UFC so far as Josh Barnett defeating Nandor Gelmino by another first round submission, just like the last two. This one with being an arm triangle choke in the first round. Josh Barnett, it's unsure if he's coming to the UFC. Obviously, he and Dana White have butted heads in the past. He said after the fight that no one is his master, or something like that. Do you think he will be in the UFC? I think just because he's such a talent, and the UFC has really become the place for the top talent to come. Just based on that, I think Dana and Josh will be able to get around it, and we will see Barnett in the UFC. What do you guys think?
Well, word on the street. If you were to go to the UFC.com website right now, you will notice that today they added a profile for Josh Barnett on the UFC.com roster website. That's fucking up there. And then, of course, he tweets out later today, he's saying, oh yeah, you might see me on the website and the roster now, but I have not signed with the UFC. Bullshit, Josh Barnett. Alright, somebody at Zuffa and the UFC fucked up. Somebody on the web design, one of those nerds, just jumped the gun there, pulled the trigger, put you on the fucking website. The cat's out of the bag, as far as I'm concerned. You can go and look. He's on the UFC.com roster right now. So yeah, that was probably the worst leak of all time. Who knows? Maybe what is it? Just a goof that they're trying to play? No. So in my opinion, I think he's already headed for the UFC. Everybody's got to stop fucking around here. He's a big name. He's going to make a lot of money. That's all it's ever been about. So it's time to let bygones be bygones. Josh Barnett is coming over to the UFC, in my opinion. Word on the street.
How about jumping the gun, Ramses? You jumped the gun on my turn, player. But
dick move, bro.
Oh shit! I'm sorry. I was looking at the next one. Damn.
It's all good.
You're right. Oh fuck.
You're just excited to get it off your chest, and that's all.
You break the news. You break the news. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Dave. Sorry.
All right. Well, saying as Ramsey already broke the news, but I'll have to agree with what he said. Definitely see him coming into the UFC. They'd be stupid not to give him a chance. I mean, he's been clean for 2-3 years now. Hasn't pissed dirty since he's been fighting back in the States. Give the guy a chance. He, brings a great name value to the UFC heavyweight division. There's a lot of guys he could fight. I mean, the guy possibly could even be fighting for the title within a few fights from the UFC. Definitely love to see him come back.
I want to see him come back as well. I mean, Josh Barnett, for me, has been a top 5 guy for a long time, probably up until the recent loss to Daniel Cormier. But yeah, I can't wait to see him in the UFC. Josh, if he's not in the UFC, he's pretty much the only really, really big heavyweight that's not in the UFC. So he's got to be in there.
Yeah, he's fantastic mixed martial artist. Even at 35 years old, he's shown that he can go the distance with Cormier. Cormier's face after their fight was absolutely trash. So, his skills are still hanging in there. He's a magnificent catch wrestler. I don't know if we're trying to break down future fights, so I'm just going to say, yeah, I'm excited to see him come in and, put him to the test against the top guy as soon as he does.
Definitely, and it looks like we got a little technical issues, so we're gonna have our friend Ray take over the Skype call so he can patch Patrick in, and he won't sound horribly. Hey, Ray is back. It looks like we're calling up Patrick on the landline. Yeah, everyone makes a real good point about Barnett. It's he definitely didn't help his cause on what he said after his fight against Nandor, but I guess we'll see. And we are calling Patrick to get his take. You with us, Patrick?
Yo.
Yo, what's going on, buddy? Yeah, the question we all were going over, do you think Josh Barnett will eventually be a fighter in the UFC in the future?
I'm certainly hoping he will, Jake. He's been around for forever. He was a former UFC champ. He's been looking pretty good lately. He's been getting some finishes. He's been slighted a lot for not being the most exciting fighter. His catch wrestling style not being the most exciting, but especially against Karatanov and in his win against Nandor Guillermo, he looked really solid. He was tossing his opponent around and getting committed. He did have an exciting fight with Cormier, although he was the one getting tossed around and getting the shit beat out of him. But, he's been looking good lately. He's only ever lost to top flight guys, and I'd like to see him back. And hopefully him being added to the roster, apparently, at some point today on the UFC website. Hopefully that's a sign he will be coming over.
For sure, yeah. And the other question I wanted to bring up about Barnett is if he is brought into the UFC, who do you think he fights next? And a lot of guys are currently scheduled for bouts. You got Big Nog versus Verdum, Overeem versus Bigfoot. Really, I said the same thing last night on the MMA podcast. It all depends if they want to throw him right into title contendership, give him Junior Dos Santos, but I doubt that'll happen. I'd really like to see Roy Nelson versus Josh Barnett. I think stylistically that'd be a really interesting matchup. What do you guys think's next for him if he's brought into the big show?
Wait your turn.
Yes.
All right. Roy Nelson definitely would make a great fight for him. Like you said, the matchups mixed together quite well there. Another fight, maybe get the winner out of Mark Hunt versus Stefan Struve. That's coming up. I think they're fighting about a month away in that Japan card. That'd be another possible good opponent for him. Like you said, they might not want to throw him to contention against JDS, but at the same time, fight does make a lot of sense since JDS isn't getting a rematch right away or anything like that. So wouldn't be that out of the blue to see that fight happen. So all three of those matchups, I would like to see him and against.
If I'm the UFC, I want to put Josh Barnett up against a UFC fighter right away. Like, you don't want to see him fight a Strikeforce guy. You don't want to see him fucking fight Verdum or, Overeem or something right away. You want to put him up against a UFC guy, but you don't want him to totally dominate your UFC guy, because you begrudgingly, gave him the contract, right? If he does come over. So, so I'd say I agree with Jake here. The safe bet, put Big Country Roy Nelson up against Josh Barnett. It's going to be a slugfest. Maybe even a decision, because who the fuck's going to knock out Big Country? So yeah, I see that one being the first one probably. Just a little. I mean, we all know. I think Barnett will take that one. I think he beats Big Country, but it won't be like an embarrassing crushing though. So yeah, that's my prediction.
I think if Barnett is going to come into the UFC, which hopefully he will, I think he's going to be getting big money. So if he's going to be getting big money, they're going to want big fights up. They're going to want marquee fights. They're not going to put him in against someone and build him up, because Barnett's been around the game for a long time and he doesn't really need building up. So I think it's going to be one of two opponents. It's either going to be Roy Nelson or it's going to be Junior Dos Santos. I think stylistically, Mark Hunt is a really bad matchup for Josh Barnett, because as soon as Josh Barnett takes Mark Hunt down, there's no contest there. And Barnett's a smart fighter. He'll that's what he'll do to Mark Hunt. But yeah, I think Nelson or JDS. I think JDS. I wouldn't be surprised if it was JDS.
I would love to see Barnett versus the loser of Overeem versus Bigfoot. This was a fight that was supposed to happen, not the loser, but the winner back in Strikeforce heavyweight tournament. Barnett was slated to fight the winner of that fight, and obviously Cormier stepped in and fought Bigfoot. So, give him the loser of Overeem Barnett or Bigfoot. I'd love to see either of those fights. I think that Barnett would submit Bigfoot, and I think that he would have a real tough test against Overeem, just like any heavyweight in the planet. So I'd like to see that matchup.
lot of brilliant suggestions tonight, guys. For myself, for Josh Barnett, I'd like to see him take on another high-level grappler, but unfortunately, Frank Mir, he's booked to go against Daniel Cormier. Big Nog, he's got a fight lined up, so I do like Ramses' suggestion of Big Country because he certainly has the grappling chops as well as the boxing. Overeem, that's a great one. Another potential fight he could get versus Shane Carwin. He's a heavy-hitting heavyweight, and he's got the wrestling credentials to go with it, so I think that could make for a good fight.
Yeah, all of those fights are pretty interesting. Barnett, and I agree actually with all of those takes. He's definitely offers a challenge that no fighter in the current UFC heavyweight roster offers in that great catch wrestling game. So it'll be cool seeing him come over and challenge some of the UFC's best. Another heavyweight being added to the UFC's best, Daniel Cormier. Beating Dion Staring, in the second round via TKO, flashing that really great KO power he has standing up. Cormier is going to be coming over to the UFC, and it's already been announced his first fight's going to be at UFC on Fox 7 against Frank Mir. We're also going to see Gilbert Melendez's first fight in the UFC. He's going to be taking on the champion, Ben Henderson. But let's stick on Daniel Cormier. He's going to be coming to the UFC fighting Frank Mir. What do you think about his fight against Frank Mir? I do think most of us are going to pick Cormier, but Mir offers an interesting challenge in that he's one of the most dangerous heavyweights once he's on his back. He's got incredible jiu-jitsu knowledge and technicality, and he puts quite a bit of torque on those submissions. So if Cormier isn't completely ready to be challenged on top, he could be in a bit of trouble. Obviously, Cormier has the advantage standing up if he wanted to keep it a boxing match, which I'm not sure if Mir would be able to pull him into his guard. What do you guys think about Frank Mir and Daniel Cormier? Your early thoughts, Ramses?
Oh, now it is my turn to be first, and there's nothing anyone else on the round table can do about it, sons.
Well, for me, I would like to see Cormier.
Nice try, David. It's not going to work this time. Cormier. I was not impressed with his performance, I got to say. Basically, I saw just a fat guy beat up a can. I got to be honest. He did not look to be in the best fighting shape. He didn't look to be in any sort of fighting shape, really. What was he like? He looked like a broke-ass Mike Tyson. But he did put the guy away, of course. He put the can away. He crushed it. Yeah. What was the guy's name? Dion Staring.
Roger Staring.
The point is, it doesn't matter anymore. I mean,
Charlos.
You're never going to see that guy again. That guy's Bigfoot now. He's gone. All right. Nobody's going to see him again. Cormier taking on Mir, good. That's a nice, easy call out, I guess. I mean, Mir, where the fuck has he been? He's also been on Bigfoot Detail Watch recently. I think Cormier fucking beat his ass. I mean, everybody saw the picture. Cormier is actually, everybody saw the video. He's training with Sensei Steven Seagal, and that's no joke. Right? So Frank Mir, it's all over for him. Basically, this will probably be the last fight of Frank Mir's career. He'll probably retire after Cormier stomps his ass. Just a little gimme layup fight in the UFC here to make his debut. That's basically it. Frank Mir is a dead man. Daniel Cormier, even though he didn't look that great, I was not impressed. Looked like a fat guy. But he's going to beat Frank Mir's ass. Hell yeah, he has to. They're spending a lot of money just to bring him over. It's got to happen. Word on the street.
Ooh, word of the street coming in hot. I essentially agree. Once again, it's just Daniel Cormier. He's the type of dude. He's beat to built Frank Mir. Frank Mir, he's got exceptional grappling. But the thing is, Daniel Cormier, he's got that Olympic wrestling background. He's just a higher caliber athlete. That's all there is to it. In spite of what we saw in his last fight against Mr. Starling or whatever his name was,
Roger.
Green's punching bag.
Charlos.
The only thing is, Cormier, he's going to come in, he's going to stop Frank Mir, I mean, he's going to keep it standing. He's got better boxing. He's got a chin that's, he's so good. It's rarely been tested. And he's going to put Frank Mir out. It's going to be a fairly simple fight, I think. And, let's see what happens for Cormier after that, if he sticks at heavyweight or drops down.
I think there's been too much being made about Cormier not looking good in his last fight. How can you get yourself motivated when you've just beat Antonio Silva, you've just beat Josh Barnett, and your next opponent, even the guys on the show can't get his first name right? How can you get yourself motivated to fight somebody like that? So I don't think there should be too much made of the fact that he didn't look great in that fight. He did what he needed to do and he won. At heavyweight against Frank Mir, I think it's a mental fight.
MMA mental fight.
Hey, well done, boys. Well done. I think it's a great fight. I think, obviously, we know Frank Mir's got amazing jiu-jitsu. I mean, if you can submit Nogueira, then you obviously jiu-jitsu is amazing. But Cormier, the way he keeps the fight standing, and once he starts landing those punches, I just think he'll knock Frank Mir out probably within the first two rounds.
Yeah, Dave, as a peace offering, do you want to go first, buddy?
Sure, thank you. I have to disagree with Ray. I personally think that because Cormier has such a, hand-wrap gifted opponent, I think he should have been able to walk right through him. And at the end of the fight, the guy looked pretty damn winded. There's no excuse for looking like that. It wasn't like he had took on tough competition. People were trying to sell up, staring at some, decent fighter, but it just wasn't the case. He's tough, but Cormier should have been able to walk right through the guy. The guy was training for months on end. At first he had Mir and all that. He was ready to go for a long time. There's no excuse for the way he looked. As for the fight with Mir, I definitely see that going Cormier all day. Mir doesn't do that good with the heavy hitters. I definitely can see him finishing that fight towards the end of the first round. Thank you, Chris.
Oh, you're welcome, buddy. I owe it to you, especially after Ramses was doing it. What a dick move. But as far as Cormier versus Staring, we all saw that going down. It played out just like we thought. And one thing I noticed about Dion Staring is it just me or did that guy look like ripped fat? Like he looked really in shape, but he had a gut. He reminded me of Tom Hardy as Bane from The Dark Knight Rises. Just this kind of fat, ripped look. It was weird. It was paunchy and gross. I didn't like it. But as far as Cormier versus Mir, let's beat a dead horse and let Overeem eat it. I think that Mir is going to get trounced. He's at the twilight of his career. And on top of that, I mean, what can Frank Mir offer in this fight? High-level jiu-jitsu and slow plodding striking. Ever since he bulked up, I mean, Frank Mir looks different in every fight. Like, he got real heavy for Congo and Carwin. For Crow Cop, he was kind of in between, and he looked fat against Santos. He just looks different every time out. He doesn't have the same conditioning every single time out, which is apparent. I think he's going to get absolutely worked. I mean, he just doesn't do well against mobile guys, and Cormier is extremely explosive, extremely fast and powerful wrestler. I think it's an opponent style that he has never faced before, and I don't see this thing going past the first round, to be quite honest.
So, all of us do agree that Daniel Cormier would win that fight, but after he fights Frank Mir, his future in the UFC's heavyweight division isn't necessarily set in stone. He's talking about fighting Frank Mir, and if he wins that fight, moving down to light heavyweight to face John Jones. John Jones has already responded, saying basically bring it on. If he beats Frank Mir, he obviously would be in that heavyweight title picture, seeing that Frank Mir just fought for the title. It's one of these questions. If Cormier gets through Mir, does he stay at heavyweight or does he move down to light heavyweight? My own personal opinion, I think he should move down. When he wrestled, he fought at 211 pounds, and even though it was a difficult cut for him, I think if he's able to even cut 10 pounds to make it a 230 to 205 cut instead of a 240 to 205 cut, that would be doable. We saw Ian McCall do it in his most recent fight against Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson, cutting from 150 to 125. if a flyweight can make a 25-pound cut, I think a heavyweight can make a 25-pound cut, and I would love to see Jon Jones versus Daniel Cormier. If I could have any dream fight of any two fighters fight each other right now, it wouldn't be GSP Anderson, it wouldn't be Jon Jones Anderson, it would be Daniel Cormier against Jon Jones. What do you all think should happen if he beats Frank Mir? Should he stay at the heavyweight division or move down to 205?
Oh man, are you kidding me? Did you see the way he looked? Daniel Cormier did. I don't even know what he came into the fight weighing. If anyone knows, please help me out here. But
200,000 tons.
Exactly. He looked like he looked like Mike Tyson looks right now, except if Mike Tyson were found floating in a bathtub tomorrow morning, just bloated. Daniel Cormier, there's no way he's gonna make 205 and pull off being in fighting shape. No fucking way. Did you see him? That was not prime Cormier there.
He actually weighed in. He weighed in at 230 pounds. 230. All right.
A pure blubber.
He looked heavier than that, I have to say. He looked heavier than 230. He was just a fucking couple drinks away from being Roy Nelson, in my opinion. I don't think he makes 205. I don't think he should try for it. I think his place is just helping to stack the fucking heavyweight division in the UFC, which needs new blood, man. Let's face it. He needs to stay there, do what he can. That's where his best competition lays, actually. That's a smart move for him. Him versus Jon Jones, I don't see that happening anytime soon. He can't get to 205, in my opinion. Word.
Dave?
Well, history would certainly say that he has had a rough time with the cuts. I mean, his wrestling weight at 211, he couldn't even make the Olympic cut because he was medically disqualified because his organs started shutting down while trying to make that weight cut. So trying to get to 205 pounds, I've got to think that's a stretch. If he could do it, I'd say, yeah, sure, go for it. Why not? Test the waters there, see how you do. I'd like to see him fight his way to a title because, I mean, realistically, he wasn't the Strikeforce heavyweight champion. He won the Grand Prix. He did it in an impressive fashion, absolutely. He's been looking real good lately, but, take on like a Machida or somebody. If you get past him, take on Jon Jones. If not, I know there's that whole bullshit. He doesn't want to fight Cain Velasquez or whatever, but hell, I'd see him knocking out Cain Velasquez, and I'd love to see that fight. So, if he can make it to light heavyweight, I think that's in his future.
I think he'll make it to light heavyweight. He doesn't want to stay at heavyweight because he doesn't want to fight his training partner. And we talked about this last week about people fighting training partners, and we know there's a lot of guys that don't want to fight their training partners. But yeah, I think he'll go to 205. And if you can pick up and slam Josh Barnett and you can knock out Antonio Silva the way he did, I know he didn't look great in his last fight, but I don't really play too much into that. I think he's capable of beating Jon Jones and taking that light heavyweight title. I think I'm as excited for that fight as what Jake is. I want to see Jon Jones versus Daniel Cormier, because Daniel Cormier was definitely one of the standout guys last year, especially when you think we didn't probably know who he was at the start of the year. So I'm rooting for Jones versus Cormier, and I'll be picking Cormier to win as well.
Dave, go ahead of me in this one, man.
All right, Cormier, I think what he needs to do is wait, see how that heavyweight title picture plays out, because, I think most likely that we'll see a Cain versus Overeem match, because I think definitely see Overeem knocking out Bigfoot and then Cain getting Overeem. After they fight, then you can see, if Overeem wins, then Cormier obviously could fight for the title then, because Cain would have lost the belt. As for going down to 205, I heard all about his Olympic problems and whatever, but the guy weighs 230 pounds now. Getting down to 205 shouldn't be hard for him. He's got a lot of extra flubber around there. Should be no problem for him to lose that. It's not like he's dropping a lot of muscle where it's a lot harder to lose. Just cut out, the McDonald's, the Burger Kings and whatnot, and he can do that in no time. Hire Mike Dolce, you'll get there within a couple weeks, pal.
Yeah, we all know that he's not going to fight Cain, so, I mean, what's his optimum fighting weight? He has had a flawless record at heavyweight, even as Ramses top ramen, our first caller said. So convincingly that he looked bloated. Dude, Cain Velasquez isn't really that much of a looker either, man, and he can hold up that cardio for 5 rounds against Josh Barnett. So looks are deceiving, my friend. He has the cardio for days. He works hard. He's an Olympian. So to think that just because he has some fat on him, he can't, pull his own weight, that's a ridiculous notion. And I think that if Cain wasn't the champion, he should stay at heavyweight. Why drain your body? He seems to be comfortable. That being said, light heavyweight, if he, hired Mike Dolce, like Dave said, he would be an absolute fucking monster. And I would give him more of a shot at beating John Jones than I would Anderson Silva. I know I'm in an island of my own, but, I'm sticking to it.
No, Chris, I totally agree with you there. Probably most people think that Anderson Silva would be more of a threat for John Jones, but I think Cormier offers a much different challenge. But both would obviously be huge obstacles for the champ John Jones. We'll go from the co-main to the main event, and what was actually a huge upset: Tarek Saffiedine upsetting the welterweight champion Nate Marquardt, getting the final reign of welterweight champion in Strikeforce. Pretty much everyone I knew had Marquardt winning this fight, but Tarek Saffiedine, early nominee for Game Plan of the Year for 2013, because he went in there and battered Marquardt's legs, really was unable to Nate Marquardt was not able to really implement his game of wrestling or boxing. He's such a technical striker, and on that knockout against Tyron Woodley, he really started that with his legs and used his whole body for torque. Didn't really have the power in his legs to put together those power punches, and Tarek Saffiedine comes away with the upset. What do you think's next for both guys? I would honestly like to see Tarek Saffiedine fight a top 10 welterweight in the UFC after beating Nate Marquardt, who's a hell of a name. Put him up and see how he fares in the UFC. As far as Marquardt, Chris and I talked about it a little bit last night. Probably a move back up to middleweight would be best. There are guys who I hear are dropping down in weight, and I can think, all right, well, yeah, I guess I can see him moving down a weight class. But as far as Marquardt goes, he's very drained at 185 to start off with. So when he said he was moving down to welterweight, I was kind of surprised. Maybe a move back to middleweight for the former champ. What do you guys think? P-Money?
Well, I think a move back to middleweight might not be out of order. In fact, heck, that might be one of the better moves for Nate Marquardt. He has had some trouble against more of the top flight wrestling guys. You got guys coming up nowadays, the Johnny Hendricks, the Jake Ellenbergers, the Josh Koscheck's. I don't know if he really wants any part of those fights. Middleweight just might be the place for him to go back to. And as for Tarek Saffiedine, he's in for a tough schedule once he gets over to the UFC. He's coming over now as a Strikeforce welterweight champion, so it'll be interesting to see where they put him, because there's a lot of contenders in that division right now. It's looking brutal, and it'll be a great test for Tarek coming over.
I was completely surprised by Tarek Saffiedine. I thought he was fantastic. And you think about game plans, and you think, well, sometimes you watch game plans, they're not very exciting to watch. We've talked about it in the past about people, fighting for a decision or whatever. But for me, that was a brilliant fight for Tarek Saffiedine. He wasn't fighting to win by decision. He wanted to finish that fight, and those leg kicks were just devastating. I mean, people are likening those leg kicks to the Uriah Faber Jose Aldo fight. But as regards what's next, I mean, I personally had Nate Marquardt in the top 10 for welterweights. I thought he was that good, and he showed that against Tyron Woodley. Tarek Saffiedine's just come out of nowhere and blasted through him. Another good fight for Tarek. I wouldn't mind seeing him face Thiago Alves. I think that'd be a great fight. Two, Muay Thai strikers. I think that'd be a brilliant fight. As for Nate, I don't think we can judge him on this one fight. He's lost one fight. I don't think that means he should move back up. If he feels good making 170, I think he should still make 170. And I'd still give him a guy up around the top 10 or top 15 personally. There's loads of names out there though. You've got the likes of Koscheck, Fitch, You've got Damian Maia, you've got Eric Silva, you've got, they're all around the bottom bit. Ellenberger, Hendricks. There's such an exciting division. Maybe a rematch with Martin Kampman, because obviously Kampman's coming off a loss, and Marquardt beat Kampman at middleweight, so maybe that'd be a good fight.
Yeah, some great points, you guys. One thing I want to say about Marquardt is that the guy doesn't look spectacular at welterweight. I think he needs to go back up to middleweight. At middleweight, he lost to some top guys, but has looked really, really good against some, lower A level, higher B level fighters. And he looked more explosive and powerful. At welterweight, he just hasn't looked that great against Saffiedine and Woodley, both guys that are, kind of, in my opinion, subpar. He hasn't looked that great. So I think he should go back up. That being said, if they stay at welterweight, I'd like to see Saffiedine versus the winner of Matt Brown and Dan Hardy. And for Marquardt, a rematch with Martin Kampman, like Ray just brought up. That'd be great. They're at a new weight class, and both of them have changed quite a bit. I think Marquardt for the worse and Kampman for the better. So I'd like to see that.
Yeah, I'm really happy with Saffiedine. I've followed this guy ever since he made a Strikeforce debut a couple of years ago, and I instantly liked the guy. So I was nothing but happy for him. Marquardt, it's tough. I don't even know if he was on the initial list that they released yesterday of people that were coming over. There's a chance he might not even get a UFC fight again. He left on a sour note with this whole little suspension thing. It was about 2 years ago, like a day before the fight or whatever, and he didn't comply with the athletic commission and blah, blah, blah. So who knows what's really in store for him. Like you guys brought up with the move back up to middleweight, that wouldn't be that bad of an idea for him. He was definitely a decent fighter at that weight, and, he definitely could hold his own. Saffiedine, though, I would like to see him get top 10 guy. He just took out the Strikeforce welterweight champ. Why not give him, stiff competition right off the bat? It's tough to say really who now, because that's another division that's pretty locked up with a lot of fights. Ray rifled off quite a few guys, but one of the ones that stuck out to me would be Eric Silva. I think that'd be a hell of a fight to see. Both guys are fairly young and they like to throw tons of strikes. I think that'd be a hell of a fight. Definitely could win fight of the night if they ever lock it up.
Yeah, the Tarek Saffiedine versus Marquardt fight, the final fight in Strikeforce history, was a disappointment. And an upset, of course. And what I was upset about was it was one of those fucking puzzling fights where you're like, why the fuck isn't Marquardt fighting back? Why doesn't he have any sort of response or answer? Tarek, maybe it was that fucking Team Quest shit, once I saw Dan Henderson in his corner, I knew something was up. So yeah, he fucking destroyed Marquardt systematically, just kick by kick, man. Just like the UFC did to Strikeforce to bring it down. That's what that whole fight symbolized for me. Honestly, man, it was you were watching the whole thing, just replay. That's how Strikeforce went out. It was fitting. What's next for? I think they're both going to go over to the UFC. I mean, come on. I mean, Marquardt, he didn't look too good in this one, but he fucking in his last fight against Woodley, which is why I had him on this one. He looked fucking amazing. Amazing knockout, everything. Don't know what happened this time, but I think we'll see them both in the UFC, honestly. But Tarek, man, I still don't think he's that good. If you get someone coming after him, I think the fight would have went differently if Marco had just come at him more. I don't know what the fuck happened in that fight, honestly.
Yeah, it was just his game plan of implementing all those leg kicks that gave him the edge in that fight and sort of took away Marquardt's game. So out of the two, even though it was a big upset, Saffiedine over Marquardt, who do you think is going to have a better run in the UFC? I still think even though he lost, it's going to be Nate Marquardt just because Saffiedine's so unproven. But kind of a simple question: who out of the two do you think is going to have a better run now that they're brought over to the big show?
I think it depends on the route. I'm sorry, on the route that both are given, the path that gets laid out for them, the kind of matchmaking they receive. I honestly, I would say Nate Marquardt.
I think they'll both have a good run. But if I had to pick one to have a better run, I think I'd be sided with Nate Marquardt as well. He's such an experienced fighter.
Is that me? Sorry, guys. Definitely Nate Marquardt. I think that Tarek had a masterful game plan against a guy who was in the wrong weight class. So if Marquardt wises up and goes back up to 185, I think he'll have the better run.
I'm going to say Safadine. Like I said, I'm not 100% certain Marquardt's going to get another UFC shot. Unless it was confirmed, I don't know. Anyone can fill me in.
It's been confirmed he's been signed by the UFC.
He has or hasn't?
He has.
Oh, all right. Well, since he has, I'm still going to say Safadine. I think this is time now. I think he's ready for the big guys. See what he's got.
Nice. After the fucking performance by Marquardt, no. I'm not going to trust him until he gives me a fucking reason to. So I got to go with Tarek, man. He's going to look better in the UFC. He looked better in the last fight. So I got to go with that.
Word on the street.
Word on the street. And that's the last topic I guess we'll cover before we get into the news. And before the news, you guys ready for Guess That Tweet? Chris is hosting this week.
Let's do it.
All right. Go ahead, Chris.
All right, gentlemen, are you prepared? Have you brought your tidy whities?
I'm ready to defend my championship.
Ready to own.
Baxter going first.
All right, gentlemen, here we go. Tweet number 1, and you guys all know the order, I assume. Tweet number 1 is, imagine all the people who smile in your face but talk behind your back. That's why I keep a small circle. Hashtag frenemy. And your options are, I did 5 since we have a full cast and crew. The options are King Mo, Chad George, Derek Brunson, Josh Thompson, and Jacare Souza.
I'm going to go for King Mo.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I'll go with Muhammad Lawal.
I was thinking King Mo as well, but I'm thinking Chad George.
I'll just go random here. Josh Thompson.
Who were the guys? King Mo.
The guys were King Mo, Chad George, and you know what? Next week, why don't we send the options for each tweet? The day of, right before we go live. That'll fix the shit. So King Mo, Chad George, Derek Brunson, Josh Thompson, and Jacare Souza.
I don't see King Mo using the hashtag frenemy. I'll hop out of the Chad George train.
And none of you were right. It was Derek Brunson.
Wow.
Oh, piss.
Oh, damn.
Well, I was right in the sense that I don't see King Mo tweet in front of me or hashtag in front of me.
Yeah,
But you were still wrong.
You were still wrong, alas. So you're all
half right.
you're all 0 for 0, and I had a feeling that these were going to be hard, so I actually did a 6th just in case. So, number 2. My Hummer just got turned down at the car wash. Quotations, too much work, hashtag first world problems. And your options are, and Ray, I hope you see the pattern for the options here. Your options are Brendan Schaub, Rampage Jackson, Daryl Schoonover, Wes Shivers, and Mike Wessel.
All from the same season of Tough.
There you go.
Dave?
Oh yeah, I forgot to think. My bad. Let's go with titties. Daryl Schoonover.
Oh, shit. I know it's not Rampage. There's no way in hell he still has a Hummer. He's broke. Shit.
You can still get Hummers.
What was the second option?
I'll just read them out again so you guys can know. Brendan Schaub, Rampage Jackson, Daryl Schoonover, Wes Shivers, and Mike Wessel.
I'm gonna go with Brendan Schaub on this one. Brendan Schaub.
Yeah, this is a tough one. I'm going to go with Wes Shivers.
I'll keep it spread around. Go ahead and wet my Wessel. I'll take Wessel.
I'm not going to keep it spread around. I was thinking Wessel as well, so I'm going to follow Jake and go Mike Wessel.
Okay, so it was not Rampage Jackson. It was not Daryl Schoonover. It was not Mike Wessel. And it was not Wes Shivers. It was Brendan Schaub.
Still undefeated.
Ooh.
You got a third question for us, Chris?
Yeah. Sorry, guys. I was keeping tabs. I actually have an area to do that, so I just had to make sure to keep tabs on
Do you
it.
need to add the scores up for you, Chris?
I'll tell you what the score is.
Yes, please.
I got him on the run
my
sheet.
title right now. Straight out of fucking Austin, Texas right now. Word on the
Ramses,
street.
if you lose, I hope that everyone here gives you shit for it. All right, number 3. You know you're a hoodlum when you take your jacket off and the room smells like ink. And your options are Rory McDonald, Justin Chambers, Mac Danzig, Mike Ricci, and Eddie Alvarez. Again, that's Rory McDonald, Justin Chambers, Mac Danzig, Mike Ricci, and Eddie Alvarez.
There's actually one of those guys, I don't know who he is, so I'm not going to pick him, but I'm going to go for Mike Ricci.
Yeah, you threw both of the Canadians in there with Ricci and Rory Mack, Justin Chambers, Danzig. Man, this is really close. Justin Chambers almost seems like the one who doesn't fit in there, so I'll go with him.
Very clever. Very clever. Oh, I'll go with Chambers as well.
Oh, shit. This one's a squeezer here. Let's go with... Fuck. Let's, I gotta ride the wave. I'm sorry. I mean, the belt is on the line. I'll go with Chambers as well.
I'm gonna go with little mighty Mac Danzig.
Okay, so it was not Eddie Alvarez. It was not Rory McDonald. It was not Mac Danzig. And it was not Justin Chambers. It was Mike Ricci. Congratulations,
Get
Ray.
in!
Ray just said,
to hell,
get in.
Damon.
That's what he tells the ladies.
Get on in with it. Come on, then. All right. Number 4.
I just bitched that word on the street.
Oh!
I've got it scored even, Ray. You just stepped into hell, son. Get ready.
Oh, shit. This is exciting stuff, gentlemen. And as P-Money would go, exciting stuff. Ooh, exciting stuff.
Final choke.
All right, number 4. A police officer was shot in my neighborhood tonight. Hope he is okay. Shooter is still on the run. Better not show up at my door. Hashtag Saiga12. And your options are Josh Koscheck, Cody Donovan, Reggie Warren Jr., Robbie Lawler, and Bobby Volker. Again, that's Koscheck, Donovan, Warren Jr., Lawler, and Volker.
I'll go for Robbie Lawler. Oh, it's not my turn yet, is it?
Nope.
Yeah. I don't want to
How dare you? And you interrupted fucking Dave? Jesus Christ.
See, I was ready to go this time, that's why.
Sorry, Dave.
Alright. Who was the last person on there? I know the rest.
Okay, it was Bobby Volker, Robbie Lawler, Reggie Warren Jr., Cody Donovan, and Josh Koscheck.
You stole the words right out of my mouth, Dave. I'm also going to go with this Donovan character, just on a random guess.
I'll go with Robbie Lawler.
I'll also go with Robbie Lawler.
I'm following the person who rudely jumped in at the start. I'm going to go for Robbie Lawler as well.
Okay, so it was not Josh Koscheck. It was not Reggie Warren Jr. It was not Bobby Volker. And it was not Robbie Lawler. It was, in fact, Cody Donovan.
Yeah.
Yes. Can you feel it?
Lord.
What does it feel like, gentlemen?
Oh, shit. He's actually backing his words up with his fighting, just like Chael P. Sonnen. Here we go.
Standing in the presence of greatness. What does it feel like? Let's do this.
All right, number 5. I just love how you can unintentionally offend someone, sadly mostly Americans, without ever saying a word. And your options are Dan Hardy, Jay Huron, Jimmy Manua, Todd Duffy, and Andre Winter.
I'm going to go for Dan Hardy.
I'll go with Andre Winter.
I'll go with Dan Hardy as well.
Oh, shit. Oh, fuck. So much on the line here. The pressure's on. I don't know the answer here. I don't think it's Manu. I don't think it's Dan Hardy. I'm not going to go with Todd Duffy. Let's go with this Winner guy. Just because his fucking name is Winner. That's my guess.
I'm leaning a lot towards Winner, but something's telling me Huron. Flip a coin. Huron.
Okay, it was not Dan Hardy. It was not Jay Huron. It was not Jimmy Manua. And it was not Andre Winner. It was, in fact, Todd Duffy. No one gets a point.
Fuck.
Ooh.
It's only American.
Is that the end of regulation?
Dude, I got a 6th tweet, and that's all I got. So it could be a tie. It could be a 3-way tie.
No, it's not a tie. Say it. Say my name.
Oh, yeah, I guess he did win. So do you guys want to do the 6th one just for shit and giggles?
Yeah.
Still under.
Let's do it for shits and
I can't
giggles.
believe it's 2 weeks in a row.
Fine, I'll take you guys on one more round. I'll give you another chance here after I knocked you guys out. You fools. Let's do it.
Oh, man, listen to this. He's coming in hot. All right, number 6. Here we go. New Year's at the 40 Watt, which I'm assuming is a club. It's like a flannel explosion, and I'm in the middle of it. And your options are, and let's test Ray's knowledge yet again, Joe Proctor, Darren Cruikshank, John Kofer, James Krause, and Dakota Cochran.
Did Ray already answer?
No, I was just guessing the theme. It was all Tough Life contestants. It's up to... We're on Snakes, so it's on the other way. It's Dave first, isn't it?
Yep. All right, I'm going to go with the zombie master hunter himself, Darren Cruikshank.
I will need the options read to me. I'm sorry. There's just
no
so much.
problem. I'll reread the tweet and the options. New Year's Eve at the 40 Watt. It's like a flannel explosion, and I'm in the middle of it. Your options are Joe Proctor, Darren Cruikshank, John Kofer, James Krause, and Dakota I Chug Dick Cochran.
Whoa. And it's actually just I Chug. It's Dakota I Chug Cochran.
Oh! Heyo!
Fuck. Dirty sons of bitches. I will just, oh man. Desperation move here. I'm swinging away with nothing. James Krause.
I'll go with John Kofer.
I've been agreeing with Patrick lately, so I'll just keep it rolling, even though Ramses already won. John Kofer.
I'll go with the gay one who does that things with dicks.
Whoa.
Ooh, Chris?
Yeah. Oh, hey! Hey, what I do in my own spare time is my business, sir. That being said, there's no need for an overtime. It was not Joe Proctor. It was not Dakota Cochran. It was not Darren Cruikshank. And it was not James Krause. It was John Kofer.
Woo! So we all end up with at least a point.
Yep. Congratulations, Ramses, you son of a bitch.
You have a victory speech?
Yes, I do. Thank you very much, Jake and Chris and the Word and Street podcast. Shout out to MMA Mental, David and Patrick, Ray, everybody. But I want to thank my sponsor, Marijuana. Shout out to the city of Austin, Texas. My Thug Jitsu master, Eve Edwards. The Twitter for, putting together the whole fucking system to make this competition even possible. The competition that I have dominated once again for the second week in a row, defending my title. Still undefeated, always, because I said so. And just one more thing I'd like to say. In 100 days, 100 days from now, you're gonna see Chael Sonnen beat the shit out of John Jones, claim the championship belt at the light heavyweight UFC match at UFC 159. 100 days. Shout out. This victory goes out to my man, Chael Sonnen, my hero, the people's champion. Word on the street.
We gotta stop this fucking guy.
Powerful Ramses. And next week Ray is going to be hosting, so Ray, go ahead and throw those tweets together this coming week, and we'll do it again next Thursday. Let's move on to a little bit of news action. We're talking about these Strikeforce guys coming over to the UFC. Mentioned it briefly when I talked about the Mir Cormier fight. Also on that fight, it's going to be UFC on Fox 7. It's going to be Gilbert Melendez versus Benson Henderson. And I think all of us talked about it recently, and all of us took Benson Henderson in that fight. But the question I'm asking is if Gilbert even has a chance to beat Benson Henderson. I say he has a puncher's chance, maybe a 5% chance to win. But for all intents and purposes, I think a bet on Gilbert Melendez would be pretty silly. I don't see how he gets past Benson Henderson.
I'll be picking Benson Henderson to win. I think Benson's an amazing fighter. I think this is a bit of a dream fight. I mean, I like Melendez personally. I think he's a good fighter. I know he hasn't looked great in one of his recent fights with Josh Thompson, but I don't think you can count Melendez out. He's a very aggressive fighter. He's a good wrestler. I think Bendo will win, but I don't think it's an easy fight for Bendo.
Yeah, a good point that Jake brought up is that, 5% puncher's chance. Well, look at Melendez's record. I mean, he couldn't stop Aoki. He did stop Kawajiri as well as Rodrigo Dam. So he's not much of a finisher, and his submission game, he doesn't really submit folks either. So how the hell is he going to stop the Bendo train? Because Bendo can't get submitted. You can't knock him out. Cerrone couldn't do it. Varner couldn't do it. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. So you have to beat him by decision. And who is the king of decisions? Benson Henderson. And they are exciting fights as much as Patrick doesn't want to admit to it. He's in some wars basically all the time. So I got Benson Henderson in this one. Unanimous.
Yeah, I really don't like Gilbert's chances very much in this. He's smaller lightweight. Benderson's pretty big there, so I just definitely see Henderson doing what he did against Diaz, just pretty much mopping the floor with this guy.
I think Benson Henderson is in fucking trouble in this one. His title defenses, it's obvious what his fucking game plan is to play it safe.
Conspiracy!
But Melendez he's winning. I mean, he's doing that Greg Jackson shit. He's just playing it safe. Just fighting to win, not to finish or defeat his opponent. So Melendez, as long as he comes in there, I mean, it's his fucking UFC debut. He's coming in there with a fucking title shot. He's gonna come in there to fucking finish the kid and take the fucking title. If he comes in there with that mentality, I think it's over for Benson Henderson, because he thinks his point fighting and his safe fighting and running around is gonna keep him on top. It's not when this fucking guy is let loose in the UFC. I got Gilbert Melendez all the way on this one. Word.
Powerful prediction. I like it. I'm going to have to side with Benson Henderson as well, as much as, I don't like a lot of his performances just because I don't know, they're not for me. He's had some good fights. His fight with Anthony Pettis was brilliant. They go everywhere. But, I would pick him against Gil Melendez, though. He's the bigger specimen. He's more of an athlete. He just seems to have that athletic quality that separates him from everybody else at 155. So I will roll with Benson Henderson until disproved.
For sure, yeah, a couple powerful takes there, but I guess we'll see UFC on Fox 7 whether or not Melendez can upset the world, because one thing we all can agree on is that he will be the underdog in Vegas. Another fight booked for UFC on Fox 7, Dan Hardy versus Matt Brown, the welterweights squaring off of that card. What are your early thoughts on that? Just stylistically, this is a nightmare match for Hardy. Hardy's really, his power comes in his knockout ability, and Matt Brown has a granite chin. Brown isn't going to get stopped by any of Hardy's punches, I don't think, and the real advantage he has on the ground against Dan Hardy is going to come in key. And this is Matt Brown all the way. I would be absolutely shocked if Dan Hardy won this fight. What do you guys think?
Well, I mean, you brought up a good point. Matt Brown has a well-diversified tool set. I mean, he can submit guys. He can knock them out. He's on a huge win streak. The only guy to go 4-0 in 2012. The only way you beat Matt Brown is by submitting him. Dan Hardy obviously won't do that. So, looking at past opponents, open up your books. We're going to do some MMA math. Matt Brown basically did to Mike Swick in 7 minutes what Dan Hardy couldn't do in 15, and that was knock his ass out. So I got Matt Brown in this one, definitely by a finish.
I was pretty happy when they announced this fight. I think it's gonna be a hell of a fight. Bringing up the puncher's chance. That's Hardy's only real shot at doing it, but he could probably take it standing up if he fights smart and comes in with good cardio. I think he could win the stand up war against Brown. If it does go to the ground, we definitely don't know, or actually we do know that Hardy isn't much of a submission guy, and that's where Matt Brown really loses a lot when he has lost. But I'm definitely leaning towards Matt Brown on this one.
Dan Hardy versus Matt Brown. Holy shit. Usually, anybody who listens to previous episodes of this podcast, whenever Matt Brown's name comes up, I'm always like, who the fuck is Matt Brown? But now, I have to admit, because of just stoner straight up right now, we have talked about Matt Brown enough, even on this podcast, to where I know who he is now. All right, the dude's pretty fucking badass now. I know who he is. He went from unknown. He's on the map now. And Dan Hardy, in my opinion, he's a fucking dead man in this one. Dan Hardy ain't got what it takes against Matt Brown. Now the whole world is gonna know this fucking name. This is what Matt Brown needed. He needed a big name fight. He got one. Dan Hardy. It's gonna be. I don't want to say it's can crushing because Dan Hardy isn't a can. But, shit, whatever the closest thing to a can is in the UFC.
It's a bottle crushing.
Yeah, it's something like that, man. It's just, poor Dan Hardy, man. UFC on Fox 7. That's gonna be, maybe he retires after this one. Maybe Matt Brown will retire his ass. That's my call.
I'm gonna actually side with Dan Hardy on this one. I may be selling Matt Brown short. I love the Immortal. He's always in great fights. They may not be the most technical battles, but Matt Brown, he's a guy that fights with heart. He never stops. He bullies his opponents around. He's had a great run as of late. But I do think that Dan Hardy just has enough. I mean, I think he has enough to stop Matt Brown from bullying him. I think he has just slightly better striking, and I don't think that Matt Brown, with his grinding wrestling style, I don't think it's anything that's too overwhelming for Dan Hardy. Maybe your lower tier fighters, but I think that Dan Hardy should be able to withstand this one, and I think I see him winning a decision.
I think this is a really exciting fight. I think I'm pretty sure I saw on Twitter Dan Hardy was looking for this fight because I know Matt Riddle was trying to call out Dan Hardy, and Hardy was saying, "Oh, I don't want to fight Matt Riddle. He's not a big enough name." But I have to admit, I think Dan Hardy's very overrated. I think he's always been overrated. He's a very good technical striker, and he's certainly capable of knocking people out because of his technical striking. I mean, again, his last fight in Nottingham, which I was at the event, I think he fought Dwayne. No, it wasn't Dwayne Ludwig. He fought Amir Sadola, and it was such a boring fight. And he basically wrestled his way to a win, and it wasn't a great fight to watch because it wasn't even good wrestling. It was wrestling where he literally didn't do anything but take them down because he could get the takedown, but he didn't have any skills to do anything else. It wasn't good ground and pound or anything like that. But Matt Brown's one of these guys that comes into the fights, and he always seems to be the underdog, and he always causes the upset. I think he was expected to lose to Stephen Thompson. And I mean, they had a grueling fight, and then obviously he got the win. He was expected to lose Mike Swick, and he annihilated Mike Swick. But I think he'll get the win on this one as well. I think Matt Brown is really, really good. I think he's such an exciting fighter. He'll make it into a brawl. He's certainly capable of catching Dan Hardy. I think, with regards to the ground, I think whoever's on top out of the two has the advantage. If Hardy takes Brown down, I think Hardy has the advantage. If Matt Brown takes Hardy down, I think Matt Brown has the advantage. Because I just don't think any of them have got a good enough game off their back. But yeah, I think Matt Brown will win the fight.
Yeah, I guess most of us are on Brown's side, but nice way going with the underdog there, Patrick. I was very shocked you turned your back on your compatriot over there in Dan Hardy, right? Man, I think that's the first time I've ever heard you go against a UK fighter. It's harsh. He has no response for that.
No rebuttal? Zero rebuttal?
Zero rebuttal.
That's cold, baby.
That's cold, son. Yeah, just a couple more topics before we get to our boneheads of the week. Tito Ortiz making news, unfortunately, yet again. He is Chris Cyborg Santos' manager, and apparently Tito wants Cyborg to have a few warm-up fights at 135 before she fights Ronda Rousey. It was unspecified whether he wanted 1 or 2 or 3, but wanted her to have a fight or two under her belt at bantamweight before she fought the champion. Do you think that's a wise move? I think it is not, just because the women's bantamweight division has no confirmation whether it's going to be in the UFC for a matter of months, years. You know, it might be out of the UFC as soon as it's in the UFC. Dana White's made it clear it's experimental, even though I don't really agree with them deciding to do that. I just simply don't think it's wise, because you don't know whether that chance against Ronda in the UFC will be there in 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, and you want to get that paper while it's still there, you know. So your seed while the sun's still up, and you're able to take advantage of this big payday. What do you guys think about Tito having Cyborg have a couple warm-up fights at bantamweight before taking on Ronda Rousey?
Well, taking advice from Tito Ortiz is kind of like taking advice from someone with Down syndrome, in psychology. Why would you even bother? He's pretty much retarded. But that being said, he has a decent point. Cyborg has never fought at that weight. Yeah, she's probably going to work with Dolce. The UFC is pretty adamant in getting Dolce to work with Cyborg, but give her a high level fight at 135 before she fights Rousey, because or he, whatever you want to call her. She definitely has never fought at that weight, so it'd be pretty dangerous to kind of drain herself and then fight a beast in Ronda Rousey. It makes sense to me, man. I think that's the first time that anything that Tito said has made sense.
Is Dave still with us? Dave
Dead.
died.
He's on mute. Unmute yourself,
I
Dave.
muted myself.
There he is.
All right. Well, yeah, I think I have to agree with Chris. It really makes sense for her to try it out. That way, when she does get the fight, Rousey, there's no excuses that it's her first fight or first time making the weight, whatever. So yeah, for once, Tito definitely does make some sense here. Definitely like to see her take a fight. I don't really see nothing happen to the women's division until we get this fight. So for her to take a fight or two, they're still gonna have the women fighting. And I think there was something that was just put out a day or two ago saying that the women's division is definitely going to be there, and they are going to have more fights in the future. So, yeah, I definitely think it's a smart move for her to take a few fights before she gets Rousey fight.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Tito. He thinks, fucking Tito always thinks there's a tomorrow in MMA. It's the fucking fight business. There is no tomorrow. Apollo Creed said it best in Rocky 3. There is no fucking tomorrow. Cyborg warming up to fight Rousey. Wait, what? No. Let's face it. If somehow Rousey loses this fucking fight, what do you think Cyborg's contract is going to be worth? What do you think she's? What you think they're going to put her on a fucking co-main? Hell no. She'll be on fucking Facebook, right? She'll be fighting on Facebook. Tito, love him to death. One of the greatest fighters in his prime, of course. Did a lot for the fucking sport, UFC. But as far as his managerial skills, let's face it, he hasn't learned, man. He had the biggest fight of his life against Chuck Liddell coming up. He backed out for a whole fucking year, thinking it was a smart business move to do, and because he didn't want to fight Chuck, of course. But he just makes bad business decisions, man. He hasn't improved on that shit yet. And I heard he's not even really actually managing Cyborg when it comes down to it. He's just like a face on the fucking management company. So I don't know how much of it is actually his call, but is it wise for Cyborg to be on the shelves and turn down the Rousey fight, which she did? No, that was the biggest fucking mistake. That was the biggest wrong move you could have made. Word on the street.
I think this is a stupid suggestion by Tito Ortiz. You got to strike while that iron's hot. you got to get while that getting's good. And I think for the UFC as well, this is what they need to keep building that division up. Because I've been sitting here wondering, what are they going to do after Rousey Carmen Shea? What are they going to do after their first female fight? How are they going to roll out the division? How are they going to continue to build interest? It's such a rough, heavy going trying to build this division just kind of haphazardly like they're doing. I think Cyborg versus Rousey, if Cyborg can make the weight, make it happen. It's really the best thing to do. The UFC, their non-existent bantamweight division for women, it doesn't even have challengers. What about like Sarah McMahon? Chicks like her who are coming up, she could be a legit threat to Rousey's belt. There's no one for her to even fight to come up. So there's no fights to take. Setting up Cyborg versus McMahon, that would be a prospect killing fight. I don't think that'd be wise, but yeah, I think Cyborg needs to take this fight if she can make the weight.
I can see where he's coming from. I mean, it's not always a good idea to take that big fight on your first fight. I mean, it's a bit like Frankie Edgar, Jose Aldo. Should Edgar have had a warm-up match at 145 as well before he went and fought Jose Aldo? So yeah, I can see it from that point of view. I suppose also the argument with the fact that division, depth, it hasn't started yet, and it could be gone as soon as it's here. So I can see that argument as well. But I don't know what's going to happen with the women's division. I hope it does stick around because there's a lot of women out there in MMA who deserve their shot. We're seeing it with Invicta. And obviously, there is some brilliant female fighters out there. I just hope they get their chance in the big league so they can make a living out of it and get the same kind of press coverage that the blokes get.
For sure, yeah. I didn't know that Ramses, that Tito was apparently just a face of the managing operation. That's pretty interesting. As far as her suspension goes, she tested positive on January 6th for a fight that took place on December 17th. So technically, actually exactly 1 month ago, she was up to reapply for a license because the year-long suspension was retroactive to that December 17th, 2011 fight. So she could fight as soon as she needed to fight. One last topic, and this one isn't really that MMA related, but I thought it would be interesting to bring up. Dana White actually has a kind of sketchy surgery. He has Meniere's disease, where pressure builds up in his left ear, and to alleviate that, they're giving him surgery that has a 70% success rate, but it involves removing his ear and putting it back on his head. Pretty sketchy. I guess they're putting a little tube in there while the ear is off of his head. Also, Rutan getting neck surgery, but obviously the sketchier surgery in those two being the one with Dana White getting his ear lopped off of his dome, then sewed back on. Just really quickly, and if so, try and keep it brief. Have you or any of your friends ever had any surgery sketchier than that?
Oh man, I definitely feel Dana's pain with the whole ear thing. As a kid growing up, I had tubes put in my ears so many freaking times. Even once, I think I was around 11 years old, and they did it while I was awake. So I had a needle stuck directly into my ear to numb it, and then the doctor did the surgery while I was awake. It was fucking weird. Yeah, I definitely know a lot of people in my family have surgery and shit. I could go on and on like Ramses, but to keep it short, yes, I've known a lot of people with surgeries, including myself. So on to the next person.
Thanks, Dave. Oh, yeah, the Dana White ear surgery, man. I was tweeting this guy left and right, just trying to tell him not to do it, because Meniere's disease, I've actually thought I was diagnosed with it, years ago, but it was actually, it's one of those things where it's you never know if it's, stress, because that is one of the contributing factors to it. So I thought I fucking had it. I got a second opinion that said otherwise, just tried to put me on drugs and shit. But yeah, it is fucked up. You do actually, you spend a whole fucking day just out of it. Just dizzy and shit. But I was trying to tell Dana White, I was tweeting him left and right, but he's how many fucking tweets does he get per day? Thousands. But I was trying to tell him that of course, to smoke marijuana, that's step number one, and to try and take up self-hypnosis. You know, he didn't fucking listen. He's going with this fucking surgery route. It's a small, you know, there is a small risk involved, but it looks like he made it out just fine, thank God. But yeah, so hopefully it works out for him. If it doesn't, I'm going to bug his ass some more, because the self-hypnosis, that is a legit technique if you're ever dealing with stress and anxiety, which is the cause. Like, that will fuck your body up, believe it or not. Stress and anxiety, man. You know how many people, just blood pressure alone. Anyway, I'm not getting into health issues here, but another question was, have you or any of your friends ever had sketchy surgery? Yes, I have had my entire chest ripped out and reattached, surgically woven back together.
You're like RoboCop, but gayer.
Yep. It happened when I was 16, man. I had like, have you ever seen people with like one of those caved in chests? Have you ever seen people with that shit?
Yeah, concave.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Try telling me.
Right.
Don Vito.
What I had was the exact opposite, where it was actually pigeon-breasted. It was actually protruding out. It was the exact opposite, but it's a real thing that happens. So at 16, I had that fucking surgery. It was the most painful thing that ever happened to me in my entire life. I woke up during the procedure. I remember it. Yes, I did, man. I woke up because I was choking to death on my own vomit. But yeah, so I have had sketchier surgery than Dana White. God bless him. Hope he's well. Wore it on the street.
I was going to call you a pigeon-breasted mook, but after hearing that, I just...
Patrick?
You know, Ramses, are you sure you're not confusing your life with Wolverines again?
No, luckily
I don't know that.
I had a good doctor, man. They were ready for someone to wake up apparently and choke and puke. Apparently it happens all the time.
That is crazy. You know, fortunately, thank God, knock on wood, never had to go through anything like that myself. I had a few buddies. One of my buddies had to have brain surgery. You know, that was really sketchy. Of course, they said they didn't know what was going to happen if you know, he'd retain all of his faculties, if he would retain all of his mobility. Fortunately, he came back, you know, essentially 100%. Got to watch the blows to the head, obviously, but yeah, came back 100%. Hell, I had another buddy who had a bunch of steel plates put in his face, had his face crushed after getting pistol whipped, but so those are pretty sketchy, but yeah, you know, you just got to pray for the best. You got to stay positive, and you know, hopefully, Boss and Dana White come back even stronger.
I've not had any surgery as such, but I had this horrible procedure done when I was younger, which was very, very uncomfortable, a little bit embarrassing as well. But it's a good 15, 16 years on, so I'm going to reveal it now on an MMA podcast.
Oh shit.
When I was about 17, 18, I had a problem with my knob. And there was right, you ready to hear this?
And for our American listeners, knob means penis. Go ahead.
It's knob or wiener. I can't say penis, so I'll say knob, right? And now at the top of the knob where the head is, a gland came out from underneath my head and was sticking out, so I had like two heads. It's not, honestly, God, it was so painful. And to get it back in, they literally had to squeeze it and push it back in, and they just gave me happy gas. I'll tell you what, it wasn't obviously surgery, but it was very, very uncomfortable and very, very embarrassing. But that was 15, 16 years ago now.
Wow, I think Ray automatically wins this, but go ahead, Chris.
Yeah. Ow! I'm just still thinking about it. Jesus. I got nothing. I got my wisdom teeth pulled out once, went safely to sleep, and woke up just fine. So I got nothing.
Yeah, I saw a friend of mine fall on concrete from like 25, 30 feet up and basically bust his face into a million pieces. I'm shocked he survived. His face was dangling off, or his jaw was dangling off his face like the Crypt Keeper. So that was kind of fucked up. But you know, even taking out someone's entire chest, I would rather have that happen than sprout a second head and have it be pinched back in. That is some painful shit. And we'll go from Ray's bonehead to our boneheads. This is Bonehead of the Week. Let's start it up.
Yeah, this is weird.
Alright, Boneheads of the Week. For me, Mine is pretty simple. Usually I have a bonehead of the week I'm really upset with. This I'm not, it's almost like like an upset parent. I'm not angry, I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed in the Strikeforce schedulers, not the ones who schedule the fights. I am disappointed with the champions like Melendez and Rockhold who backed out because they wanted to keep their UFC stock fresh. What I'm talking about is the people that actually schedule where these Strikeforce events are going to be. Strikeforce came up in San Jose and was a regional show, really got its legs under them because of their promotion of local fighters like Shamrock, like Kung Lee, who really helped Strikeforce grow early on. And I think it would have been very fitting for Strikeforce's last show to be in San Jose. But unfortunately, it was not. It was in Oklahoma City. And yes, I do understand you had just canceled a card in Oklahoma City. But you know what? You canceled a card in Sacramento before that. So, they're just as screwed. Just refund the people in OKC and come back home for your final show. I was disappointed San Jose wasn't able to see the last bit of Strikeforce action. What about you guys?
San Jose Aldo. My bonehead of the week is Nick the Tooth. I kind of enjoy his stick, but where the fuck did this guy come from? All of a sudden, we got this toothless wonder. I'm missing a tooth right now. I'm not proud of it, and this guy is wearing it proudly, just showing off his gaping fucking, missing tooth. Dana White's all over his nuts. Apparently, Nick the Tooth has his own clothing line now. Who the fuck is this guy? It just feels like a bonehead to promote this dude. He is kind of funny, but it just seems kind of forced and put on. I mean, he's putting on a persona. I don't understand it, and it makes zero sense to me. So Nick the Tooth is my bonehead of the week.
Yeah, so it's been a while since we went outside the MMA world to pick boneheads, and I decided that I'm going to bring it back this week, and none other than with Manti Teo, however the hell you say his name. I'm sure most
Mantis
people know.
Toboggan.
There we go. I'm sure most people know about now what's going on with him, that whole scandal with his girlfriend supposed to be passed away, and now it's a big hoax where he got catfish and blah, blah, blah. Well, to keep this nice and short, anyway, if you need to know anything about it, just type the guy's name into the Google search engine, and I'm sure tons of pages will come up with this guy and what just happened with him. But anyhow, I'm picking him as my bonehead because either if he was in on it or not, this definitely just hurt his stock in the draft, and now instead of a team that really needed him, he's going to fall all the way to a team like the fucking Patriots.
Well, my bonehead of the week is whoever the hell Rick Hahn's manager is, because Genghis Khan, he's fighting for that title tonight, and Bellator MMA is debuting on Spike TV. I know we're all excited for that shit. Can't wait to watch the premiere tonight. But apparently, Hahn's been having trouble getting sponsors. Now, I'm wondering how the hell that's going to be, because even on MTV2, Bellator was drawing at least, 100,000, 200,000 people. You can't find someone to sponsor your fighter who's fighting for the championship belt, which is more likely than not going to be the main event because they're the 155-pounders. The bigger weight class title fight will probably go after the featherweight title fight. That just stands to reason. So how are you not going to get this pool some bucks? You know there's going to be eyes watching it. Drop your manager. Get with your boy P-Money. Rick Hahn's manager is the bonehead of the week.
My bonehead of the week is Quinton Rampage Jackson. I mean, this guy just blames the world for everything. There's no one. He doesn't want to take responsibility for anything. It's always everyone else's fault. And once again, he's moaning about the fact that UFC don't treat people properly and they don't get paid enough. So he's going to leave the UFC, go and fight for another promotion that's probably going to pay him a fraction of what the UFC does, because UFC is the biggest promotion in the world. I just don't understand him. The reason he wants to leave the UFC is because he doesn't want to fight the best people because he can't compete with them. That's a Rampage Jackson's my bonehead of the week.
Oh, I can't believe I'm so glad I got a platform here on the MMA podcast to break down my bonehead of the week. Lance fucking Armstrong. Lance Armstrong, you fucking cheater, you got caught, but who cares about you and your stupid bike? Cheat all you want, whatever, you gotta take a roid to ride a bike. Alright, do it. What a big man. I don't even care that you fucking won all your stupid little bike titles pedaling away on steroids. I don't care about that. You're a horrible human being. I just want to say that right now. It is the word on the street. I live in Austin, Texas. So does Lance Armstrong. He's the big man in town. Let me just tell you a quick hypothetical, for legal reasons, story about my encounter with a person called Vance Armstrong. Alright, Vance Armstrong. Alright, I'm just saying this may or may not have happened here in the city of Austin, Texas. I might be completely making this up, whatever. He's got 4 lawyers. I got nothing. I got the word on the street. Alright, Vance Armstrong, fuck you. You know what you fucking did at the fucking restaurant, which I will not name. You fucking tried to, well, you did have me and my girlfriend that I was trying to bang. You had us kicked out, allegedly, for no reason other than the fact that we didn't grovel, we didn't bow down, we didn't give a shit that you and your bike were in the fucking restaurant. We just kept on talking, having a good time. Apparently we were too close to your fucking table. Vance, in quotes, I say. This may or may not have happened. And you had us bumped out of the fucking restaurant. Way to go. It couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. You getting stripped of your titles, disgraced, crying on Oprah right now as we speak. Fuck you, Lance Armstrong. Word on the street. Thank you for giving me the time.
Yikes. I hope that Vance guy learned his lesson down the road. For me, mine's pretty easy. Manti Te'o. I can't see how Te'o was not a willing participant in this whole scandal. You know, his dad said that this chick came to Hawaii to visit. He said he would talk to her on the phone for 8 hours a day. I can't imagine any person just trying to do a hoax would spend 8 hours on a practical joke. It seems like there's a lot more reasons for Manti Te'o to be a willing participant publicity-wise than there are for this to just be a crime where Te'o was the victim, or not a crime, but just an incident. I really don't see how Te'o is any sort of a victim here. So I have Manti Te'o as my bonehead. What about y'all?
Well, I picked my own Nick the Tooth.
No, don't do it.
Oh, I can? Oh, I guess I would have to be a dumb, iron-lunged idiot like Ramses to do that. So I guess I'll just go ahead and
You did it, man. You're the one who did it. You did it.
I'm gonna pick Rick Hahn's manager for not getting a nigga sponsors like Key Money this week.
I'm gonna have to go with Rampage Jackson. Once again, open up his mouth, sound like a damn fool. So yeah, Rampage Jackson is my bonehead.
I'm going to have to go with Rampage as well. I used to love Rampage. You know, he started whining and bitching. I think every time he opens his mouth, he should remember what Dana White did for him after he went on his rampage after losing like a bitch to Forrest Griffin. He needs to shut that mouth. He's the bonehead of the week.
My bonehead of the week is Rick Hahn's manager. If you can't get your fighter a sponsorship when he's headlining on Spike TV, you need to get another job.
I'll go with Chris on this one. Nick the Tooth. I mean, dude, if you're gonna be, let's face it, just it seems like you're Dana White's drug dealer. If you gotta keep off the vlogs and the video blogs, man. You gotta keep that shit on the DL, Nick the Tooth. All right, just word on the street.
Word on the street, and that actually leaves it as a tie, like it usually is, between Rick Hahn's manager and Rampage Jackson, both at 2 votes apiece. Manti Te'o and Nick the Tooth, both at 1, which I guess gets us back in track. We got a few more news items to go over, then we'll break down this UFC card before we send it out. Really quickly, I guess let's sort of go through these news items at a fast pace, because we don't have too much time before Ray's got to sign out and hit the hay. It's like 2 a.m. over there. Farmington Hills, Michigan, looking to bar minors from MMA shows. Do you agree or disagree with that? I disagree. Maybe make it like a PG-13 type thing. You know, you got to go in with a adult if you're under 13. But, you know, if anything, all this law is going to do is dissuade MMA promoters to come to your town. So, great job losing your town a little bit of money. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I have to fully disagree too. It's stupid because there's a lot of kids now that really take to MMA, and you're hurting their chances of watching on live events or seeing some of their fighters. And it's certain ticket sales too. A lot of times you don't know, that might be like a father-son type thing to do. I'm sure if you're going with the parent, would it be an issue? But still, at the same time, you're still taking away ticket sales. So yeah, definitely disagree.
Yeah, I gotta say, shit. If they're blocking minors from going into these fucking events, there's probably a good reason that they're doing it. Probably something that isn't being reported. Maybe some shit's going on that we don't know about if they're looking to actually fucking take the time to pass a particular law. I gotta say, I gotta research this. Yeah.
I think the guy who was proposing it is one of these guys like John McCain, who sees the UFC as human cockfighting, and he doesn't want the children to be exposed to human catfighting, ladies and gentlemen. No, but he's just one of these old idiots who isn't used to the times of now, and thinks that the UFC is too brutal for a young lad or lass to set his or her eyes upon.
Yeah, if it really is just the case of an old fogey in power, then of course I'm against it. I just haven't looked into it enough, haven't seen the particulars. Maybe some crooked-ass MMA shit is going down in that particular area. It's not out of the question. But yeah, I don't know, but if it is an old fogey, fuck him.
Well said, well said. I feel that this is just another stupid mixed martial arts related law, much like the one that was passed or they're working on passing in Australia, where MMA can be held in a ring but not in a cage. When what the fuck is the difference? Yeah, I think it's just ignorant people who just want to pass legislation against a sport that they just don't understand. They don't want to see it advance. They don't understand how safe it is, and whatever. Fuck it. I don't agree with the ban whatsoever.
Yeah, I
don't.
Sorry.
Sorry.
It's all right.
Sorry.
It's all right. I don't agree with it either. I mean, obviously, I think it's fair to say the majority of us aren't going to agree with it. We're all obviously MMA fans. We're all educated. We all know about the sport. People making that kind of comment or that kind of judgment, obviously, they don't know what they're doing. They don't know about the sport. Same as that John McCain all those years ago didn't understand about the sport either. So, yeah, I disagree. It's a stupid rule.
Yeah, I definitely
you
don't.
You can go now, Chris.
Oh, I'm doing it.
It's your turn now, mate.
I'm doing it. Thank you. Thank you for, letting me go now. That's word on the street. Powerful. As far as, do I think it makes sense? Absolutely not. You guys have brought up all the points that I could have made. But one thing that I'm going to say is that if Farmington Hills, Michigan votes on it, a small city in Michigan, they vote on it and they want to bar minors, then more power to them. They're putting law into action, and it's probably a small city. So if that's what they want, then that's what they're going to get. So if most of people, the people that are old enough to vote want to ban it, then that's their given right as Americans. So that being said, I don't agree with it, but if they do ban it, so be it.
Certainly. And really quick, before we get on to the next few news items, the preliminary card of Bellator, what is this, LXXXV, that's 85, Bellator 85. The prelim results are coming in, so I'll go ahead and give those out to you. The prelim's going on Spike.com right now. You had Kleber Luciano defeating Mario Navarro via unanimous decision. Joe Williams defeating Jamie Yeager by TKO in the first round. And Savant Young defeating Mike Gaimon via KO in the second round. We'll keep those updated for you with the light heavyweight tournament as well as we continue on. Really quickly, let's blaze through these. Junior Dos Santos blaming personal problems on the UFC 155 loss. Do you believe that? I do. Just, usually I don't believe these BS excuses, but I think this is a little genuine because he just looked like he had no fight in him, and I couldn't explain why. Ramses obviously says it's a work. I think he was going through some shit, and him saying he makes a little bit of sense. Do you all believe Junior?
I believe Junior. I think it's legit. I just think one of the things that a lot of the fans in the sport don't like is when you come in and you say, you do the T Ortiz where you come into a fight and you say, I'm 100%, I've never felt better in my life. And then after the fight, you get your ass whooped and you get on the mic and you say, I had a fractured skull, my fifth vertebrae was ruptured, blah, blah, blah. You know, why don't you just say, you know what, he was the better man. He beat my ass tonight. We all know everybody goes into that fight injured. If you were obviously injured to the point where you were that far out of it, maybe you should have pulled out of the fight. Of course, you know, the fans don't like that either, so you're kind of fucked either way. But yeah, I can believe it. I want to see that third rematch, and, you know, I want to see Junior get in there and have a repeat of his first performance against Junior.
I don't know or don't care if the excuses are real. At the end of the day, once you go into that octagon to fight, you've got to be prepared. And the only guy who Kane could beat was the guy that was put in front of him. If JDS isn't prepared for that fight, then he's only got himself to blame. I don't know what else could have been going on to stop that from happening. But as far as I'm concerned, Kane won the fight fair and square. It was pretty dominating. It was actually more dominating than what JDS was, just because he smashed him for 5 rounds. But yeah, I don't buy it, to be fair.
Well, as long as JDS believes that it was personal problems, then that's going to help him in recovering and coming back stronger. That being said, JDS trained for 3 months. He came to the weigh-ins. He probably didn't cut that much weight, but he came in, did the weigh-ins, did all of his promotional business, came in on fight day. He had Burt Watson squawking in his ear, "We rollin'!" And he got his hands wrapped, and he walked out to that octagon, and he walked out and got checked by the commission and stepped in that cage, and they locked it behind him. Now, he had plenty of chances to back out, so enough is enough with these excuses. You have pretty much innumerable chances to back out of a fight if your personal problems are too much, or the weight cut was too bad, or your girlfriend dumped you. Forget all that shit. How about Cain Velasquez beat your ass for 25 minutes and did it convincingly, emphatically, and there's no question about that. You weren't knocked out quick or subbed. You got your ass beat for 25 minutes straight.
Yeah, I have a tough time believing JDS on this one. I mean, he doesn't really seem like a to make excuses, but I mean, come on now. No matter what, when someone loses, they look for an excuse, whether you believe it or not. Like someone else, I forgot who was said, but if it makes them feel better, more be it. I definitely want to see a third fight. Both guys better come in 100%. Kane was a little off for the first fight. Now JDS claims he was off for this fight. So third fight, they better stay extra healthy, do everything right, and then that way there's no excuses. The better man will win.
And here comes a little Hanato Laranja impression here for you. Oh, what a changle where we weave, when we changle to deceive. Junior fucking Dos Santos, you son of a bitch. You took that beating, you took that fucking dive. I saw it with my own eyes. I know what a man taking a beating looks like. And you were it, you son of a bitch. You could blame it on whatever. He's claiming he fucking had problems with his urine, his creatine, his kidneys, his livers, his personal problems. His fucking his car broke down on the way to the airport. The cab driver was a Jew. His iPhone fucking ran out of batteries before the fight. He had no phone charger, whatever his excuses are. You son of a bitch, JDS. You dropped the belt on purpose. I saw it happen. Everyone else is gonna just play along, just pretend like they didn't get ripped out of that fucking $60 or the 2 hours of their time that they fucking downloaded that shit illegally. But JDS, I don't believe you for one bit. You're making excuses because of the fact that people like me are calling you out. You stood there and took a beating, dude. So of course he's got to come up with excuses. Word on the street, do you believe it now?
Oh shit, I still do, but you definitely made the strongest opinion out of all of us. A few more topics, but Ray's got to hop off because this man lives a solid 6 hours in front of all of us, and it's 2 a.m. This man's got a job. This man's got mouths to feed. He's got to put food on the table. He's got to dip out. But before he does, Ray, you want to shout out your prediction challenge and let us know who you think is going to win in the UFC card this weekend really quick. First, let me get your picks. Rothwell, Gonzaga, who you got?
I'm leaning towards Gonzaga. I think he can get Rothwell down. I think he'll get a submission.
Serafin versus Dalloway.
I'm going for Serafin. I think he looked really good on the Ultimate Fighter, and I think he will catch Dalloway and get a knockout.
and Vitor Belfort versus your boy, Michael Bisping.
I'm a nut hugger. I'm going for Bisping. I think Bisping will get a late stoppage.
He is a nut hugger indeed. And yeah, I'll let you go ahead and shout out your challenge and blast your show again real quick before you head out.
Cool. Right, if we've been doing fight quizzes, but no one's been winning the prize, so I want to give people another chance to win. So what you've got to do is you've got to predict the 3 bonuses from this weekend's UFC. So we want a KO of the night, a submission of the night, and a fight of the night. And you need to send it in to us before the event kicks off. You can email mmamental@hotmail.com or tweet at mmamental or tweet at the MMA podcast. And obviously, if you want to check out this week's podcast, we spoke to Derek Brunson, who coming off of his Lieben win. We spoke to Brad Scott, coming off tough smashes, and we spoke to XFC fighter. Sorry, my mind's gone blank now. Yeah, so we spoke to an XFC, Scott Holtzman. So if you want to check in, you can check that out as well. That's up on iTunes as well. And obviously, see you all next week.
Awesome. Ray, we will see you next week. Until then, we all love you in the most homoerotic way possible.
Cool. See you all next week.
Later.
Bye.
Bye, Ray.
And Ray's hosting the call, so I guess I'll give you guys all...
I'll keep it on mute. I'll leave my computer on.
Beautiful. Yeah, so that brings us to our next topic. Ray's dipping out, getting ready for bed, washing his nuts, all that good shit. Ronda Rousey tweeting out a Sandy Hook conspiracy video, didn't straight out say, I believe this, but said, oh, this is interesting, take a look at it. Obviously got in a lot of heat for it. I have mixed views on it. I really think every fighter, especially those who are so outspoken as Ronda Rousey, should have their chance to say whatever they believe in. You know, it gets annoying when you do it in a 30-second long post-fight interview in the Octagon with Joe Rogan, a la Jacob Volkman. But Twitter's a whole different animal. Should she have done it? You know, I have zero problem with people with political ideals tweeting out stuff, but I actually watched the half-hour-long video, and it seemed pretty fucking stupid. The points that they were making were all sort of things like, I guess, but you know, saying like, oh, you know, all of these ambulances came to the school, they were blocking the exits, how could they have gotten out? It was a movie set. And then like, how would Adam Lanza have had his brother's ID if he hadn't seen him in years? Like, I don't know, he lived at his mom's house. Maybe he had an old card laying around there. All of it seemed to sort of be stuff that could have been consequential. I really didn't think the video was all that crazy. But enough about that. Do you think Rousey should have tweeted out this video? It did get erased, and she did apologize through her manager. What do you guys think about this?
Oh, Ronda Rousey tweeting out the Sandy Hook conspiracy video. Oh, Jesus. All she did, in all fairness, all she said was that it was interesting. That was the only comment she made when she retweeted it. It was interesting, and then she retweeted the fucking video. But should she have? Hell, no. She doesn't, and it's sad because I don't agree with it. It shouldn't be this way, but she is... And she doesn't even fucking realize it. She is now a UFC champion. She is holding the fucking belt. That means something. She is a public fucking figure. She is a UFC champion. And yeah, you don't tweet out conspiracy videos about little kids being killed. You just don't at that point. Even if you're a total rebel or a Diaz brother smoking that fucking weed, which I'm sure she is, you don't go there. Not about the little kids, unfortunately. The government wins on this one, even if it does turn out to be total bullshit. I don't know. I wasn't fucking there. I believe that little kids got wasted, but that's neither here nor there. The issue is, the question is, should Ronda have tweeted it? Hell no. Play it a little safe until you drop the belt, honestly.
I think, yeah, you know what? Fuck it. I really think she should have tweeted out. Just because you say something's interesting doesn't mean you believe it. It doesn't mean you condone it. But I will say this, you know what? It was truly a tragedy what happened at the Sandy Hook school. And do I think there's a conspiracy? I don't know. Haven't read into it, but I mean, who knows? The whole Batman theater shooting. There's some interesting shit. A lot of people could say, oh yeah, all these were orchestrated. Now the federal government's trying to take away the assault rifles, blah, blah, blah. you can go back and take a look at Loose Change, the 9/11 documentary. That's interesting. I mean, I believe it, or think that's accurate. I'm still on the fence on that, but I believe freedom of speech is one of the most important things that we have. It's what separates this country from all the other great countries. We need that. We need to keep it going. Say whatever the fuck you want.
Patrick, I completely agree with you in freedom of speech, and to keep it kind of to a point, should she have done it? We live in an age where if you work for a company, you are directly involved with any social media. Like if you say something on Facebook and your managers or the owners of the company see it, you're held accountable. And I think that's bullshit. You're off the clock. You're outside of your work environment. I've actually dealt with this recently. I was at work and a lizard was put on the counter at a movie theater, and I was looking at it and smiling, and I put that as my Facebook profile pic. And I had two managers message me on Facebook saying, "Take this picture down, you'll be fired." And little did they know I'd actually guarded my profile to where nobody but my friends can see anything about me. But that just goes to show you that Ronda Rousey, even though she thinks that she has some kind of freedom, she doesn't. She is accountable to the UFC and Zuffa. She's employed by them, so anything that she does in their eyes reflects on them. No, if she wants to keep her job, she shouldn't have done that. But like Patrick so courageously said, we should have freedom of speech. If you're off that clock and you want to say anything that you feel passionate about or have any kind of opinion, it should not reflect on your job. And, that's where I stand on it.
Yeah, for me, you look at Joe Rogan, the guy that will pretty much retweet any wacky ass conspiracy theory thing all day long. He doesn't get no reprimands for it, but he's also not the face of the promotion, for the women's fighters now. But he's also a big part, and he says all his wacky shit and tweets all that shit. And he never gets in trouble for it. He's quite popular, so I think it's kind of the door swings both ways thing. She probably should just use her better judgment and just kept it to herself, or just showed her friends personally, like that. I don't think sharing to all her hundreds of thousands of followers was the best idea, just because it's still pretty fresh event. It's only a couple months old. If this was, say like 4 or 5 years down the road, it probably wouldn't be that big of a deal at the time, because everyone had been, not want to say over it, but it kind of almost be like a thing of the past. But since it was so fresh, I think she should use better judgment and just left it alone.
Yeah, all of you guys make good points, and it's really going to be really interesting. Twitter has sort of opened up this new channel straight from the athletes to the fans. You've had countless people mess up and tweet out dumb shit. We do, as Americans, have the right to free speech, and especially in the UFC, fighters are given more of an opportunity than in any other sport to make their own brand and speak out and be an outspoken person and build a brand for your own personality, a la Chael Sonnen, a la Ronda Rousey, Nick Diaz. But at the same time, you've always got to have a bit of discretion, and I think Ronda was maybe lacking a little bit in just straight up discretion as far as this went, even though she obviously does have the right to say whatever she wants. Last bit of news, Rampage Jackson, another unspoken guy, not allowed to wear Reebok in the cage. Apparently Reebok is one of his sponsors, and the UFC is not allowing any Reebok logo or branding inside the octagon. Do you agree? Should the UFC have that power? In my gut I say no, because you're taking away a guy's going to make money. If Rampage is sponsored by Reebok, and one of the things that Reebok is paying Rampage for is to wear his gear into the octagon, if you can't do that, you're taking money out of Rampage's wallet. But at the same time, it is Zuffa's show, and I'm a marketing major. A lot of deals have exclusivity in them, wherein, maybe the UFC and Nike have an exclusive deal where Nike is going to be the only sports memorabilia or sports equipment company branded in the entire show in in the UFC on anyone's shorts inside of the octagon. I see both sides. Ultimately, I think the UFC should have it, even though my gut doesn't really agree with it. Just, simply looking at it from a business angle, knowing that it's one of the main ways the UFC makes money, and these exclusive contracts unfortunately do butt heads with some of the other sponsors in the UFC. What do you guys think?
I think it's really the UFC's call. It's their business. They're going to run it how they see fit. I don't agree with their matchmaking as of late. I don't like what they're doing in that direction. But as far as sponsorship is concerned, that's their prerogative. If you want to be sponsored by Reebok, hey, go fight in Bellator or something like that. However, I do think though that if the UFC is going to take such a hardline stance on who they let their fighters get sponsored by, they should hook them up a little bit and try and get them some help getting sponsors if they're going to have such a select list. Because Reebok, hey, they are not a small company. It's not Condom Depot or something like that. Although who knows what Condom Depot's net worth is, and no slight to them. But Reebok, they got deep pockets. And if you're going to fuck with a sponsorship like that your fighter got, that's kind of harsh. If you're going to do that, maybe send them a little help, try and get them with Nike or something like that.
Yeah, I'm on the same exact train that P Money's on here. It's a company at the end of the day. As much as we want to think that it's a sport and it's going to evolve into some kind of NFL thing, at the end of the day, it is an entertainment sport. And the Fertitta brothers, Joe Silva and Dana White, can do whatever the hell that they want. So if they don't want a certain company in there, that's their prerogative, and I don't really have much else to say about it.
Sir David. I think you may have muted yourself, Dave.
Yeah, I muted myself again. All right. I kind of see this as kind of just stupid by the UFC. Nike sponsors individual fighters. They don't sponsor the UFC as a whole. Kind of not, a little bit different than the NFL, where they're sponsoring the NFL with all the jerseys and all the training shit and whatever. So I can see that being a problem. But the thing is, they're sponsoring individual fighters. If Reebok wants to sponsor Rampage, why can't he take that? That he's making his money by doing that. It's not like another thing too. It's not like he sponsors Fox or anything. So to me, I think it's kind of stupid that they don't allow it.
There's got to be something going on here. Reebok not being allowed in the fucking cage. Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious, maybe not even announced to public, but obviously the UFC has some sort of backroom deal going on with Nike. And plus, they don't like Rampage. Rampage is on his way out. All he's doing is bashing the company, saying he wants to leave it. So yeah, fucking take your ass and your stupid sponsor. Get the fuck out of the UFC, Rampage. Of course this is happening. They're gonna cockblock him. He's not doing them any fucking favors. He's not trying to sell the fight. So yeah, of course they're gonna fuck him and his sponsors. That's the way it goes. It's a business. Word.
I don't know if a backroom deal is fair though. Just to kind of put in most of these contracts are made confidential just because the UFC doesn't want to be selling what like typically they don't want people to know what each company is paying them for sponsorship, because then a company would just point to the lowest bidder and be like, oh well, you're charging us this amount, you're charging this other company this amount, so we're canceling our interest in the UFC because you're charging us more. So typically those are held secret, and the exclusivity rights are held secret too. But it is something kind of to your point that if you aren't allowing Reebok, there's no reason for you to say, well, we have an exclusive deal with Nike, instead of just being real vague about it and sort of a little bit of a douche toward Rampage Jackson. From Chris Lowe, Rampage is an overrated cunt who burned bridges and confirmed some Uncle Tom shit. Strong words from our buddy Mr. Lowe. But we'll move on to this weekend's UFC card. A lot of cards going down on that undercard, but we're only going to talk about the top 3 really quick, just to sort of overview the prelim card so you guys know what's going on. The prelims are going to, on Facebook, feature Francisco Trinaldo and CJ Keith. Fuel TV, you have Wagner Prado versus Ildemar Alcantara, Yuri Alcantara versus Pedro Nobre, Edson Barbosa versus Lucas Martins, Diego Nunez versus Nick Lentz, Hani Marks versus Andrew Craig, Godofredo Castro versus Milton Vieira. All those will be on Fuel TV. And a main card fight we won't be breaking down with lightweight scrap featuring Thiago Tavares take on Khabib Nurmagomedov. But yeah, there's top 3 fights. You got a heavyweight fight and 2 middleweight fights on the main and co-main event. Let's start with the heavyweights. Gabriel Gonzaga versus Ben Rothwell. We talked about these fights last night on the MMA podcast as well. Gabriel Gonzaga coming off 2 wins, being brought back into the UFC for UFC 142 just about a year ago to beat Ednaldo Oliveira via first-round submission. Ben Rothwell on a little streak of his own, or not really on a streak, but he just beat Brandon Schaub. He's been going win-loss, 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 win his last 7 fights. So to kind of go with the pattern, he would be losing this fight, but he did look really good against Brandon Schaub. Vegas, I think, is giving the nod to Gabriel Gonzaga. Who do you all have in this bout? Christopher?
Pretty simple. Ben Rothwell got dominated by Cain Velasquez at UFC 104. Joe Rogan during that fight said that Cain Velasquez is the storm that never ends. After that, he nearly got armbarred by Mark Hunt at UFC 135. He's a super inactive fighter, knocked out Brendan, the suspect Chin Schaub. So Ben Rothwell is a can. Gabriel Gonzaga has been tested against some of the best. Gabriel Gonzaga in this fight, by finish, whatever he wants.
Chris, man, come on. Schaub's been in the UFC for a while now. It's not a suspect chin. It's just a glass motherfucking chin.
Heyo.
Yeah, I definitely think I'm going to go with Gonzaga on this one. Jake pointed out Rothwell's record. Win-loss in his past few fights. That doesn't seem like, I could put a lot of stock into that. Gonzaga's looked good since, he first left the UFC. I think he had that slight semi-retirement, came back, and he's looked good since then. His last fight in the UFC over a year ago, he looked very good, even though the guy who was fighting is another guy that not a lot of people knew about, who was more like a C-level type fighter, even a step below like Bellator standards and stuff like that. So take that. Rothwell's definitely above that. So I still definitely see Gonzaga taking this one.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna fucking attempt to analyze this one. It's just gonna be a fucking slugfest. I am just not gonna even break it down in my mind. I am just gonna sit back and fucking enjoy Ben Rothwell versus Gonzaga, man. If you pointed a gun to my head, I would say that Rothwell's probably gonna get his ass beaten and knocked out first, because there's got to be a reason that they're bringing Gonzaga back, right? I mean, he's on the up and up now. So I got to give him the slight edge if I had to. Definitely Gonzaga.
All right, sorry, did I cut someone off? Yep, yeah, I did. Sorry, Patrick.
God damn it.
Well, God damn it, Jake. If you want my pick for this fight, I'm actually going to go against the grain. I'm going to take Rothwell. I was not impressed with Gonzaga in his fight against whoever the hell he beat. He looked kind of timid to me. He's coming back. It's been almost a year since that fight, if I'm not mistaken. So whatever momentum he may have built up, I find it doubtful that he's been able to harness anything like that or gain any real confidence from it. Ben Rothwell is impossible to knock out. We saw the kind of beating he took from Cain Velasquez. That was stopped. He was getting up to his feet from getting just the ever-living Christ beat out of him. And that fight was called as he was getting up to stand up to take more punishment. He's just insane. Basically, what I think is going to happen is Gonzaga will beat the shit out of him, but Rothwell can just take a whole lot. I like Rothwell's chin better than Gonzaga's, and I think he will put Gonzaga out at some point.
Definitely. The way I see this fight going, Gabriel can definitely do damage with body shots, head shots, leg kicks, but he's going to be smart if he's going to want to bring Rothwell down. He's obviously going to be able to control the game grappling wise. Really, I don't know if this fight's going to get stopped early. If it goes later, I think conditioning is going to play a huge role. Both guys known for having suspect gas tanks. Rothwell does have a newfound conditioning resume that might be the difference if it drags on to the second and third rounds. I say after kind of a plodding beginning of the fight, it eventually slows down to a crawl. Both guys' gas tanks tested, and I'll go ahead and give the edge late to Ben Rothwell with his new training method and all that, and finally break his win-loss streak. Co-main event, Tough Brazil, Tough Brazil, what's the word I'm thinking of? Tough Brazil alumni versus Tough 7 alumni. Daniel Serafin versus CB Dollaway. Who you got? Buffalo Dave, fan of the Duffs. Who you got in this one?
To be quite honest with you, I don't know much about this Serafin guy.
What?
Yeah, I really don't.
How dare you, sir?
I don't really follow the Tufts anymore. They got very same old me and very boring. So my bad. But Dalloway's a guy too that's a lot like Ben Rothwell. You don't know what guy's going to show up. He's definitely like that win loss type guy too. But since I heard a lot of people speaking highly of this Serafin guy, Cluna Bray, I'll go with Serafin.
Yeah, I gotta agree with Dave here. I don't know too much about Serafin or Serafian. I don't even fucking know how to pronounce it. I didn't even have to look up his fucking record. I gotta tell you right now, I just had to look up, well, I remember CB Dollaway's record. His last victory was over Jason fucking Mayhem Miller. If you remember in that fight, Mayhem pretty much confessed that his fucking knee blew apart during the match. And it still went to a fucking decision. Well, it went to a decision. So CB Dollaway couldn't even finish an injured Mayhem Miller who had all but thrown in the towel and retired, going into the fight in his mind. And before that, he'd Seraphians fucking record. I'm gonna go with Daniel, whatever his fucking name is, to just probably knock out CB Dollaway. He loves getting knocked out, apparently. That's my call. Word.
Well, I believe it's Daniel Serafian. I'm going to have to pick him as well. I liked the crop of talent that came out of Tough Brazil. Serafian, he was scheduled to be in the Tough finale against, I believe it was Cesar Mutante, who he was supposed to fight for the finale. I know a lot of people had him favored in that bout. The only thing that gives me some pause is that CB Dollaway, he's got the American wrestling experience. He's out there Power MMA and Fitness, of course, with, Aaron Simpson, Ryan Bader, that whole crew. So we know that the foreign guys, they can tend to struggle a bit against that good old American wrestling. However, Dollaway, he likes to get choked out. He likes to get knocked out. He does not go the distance. And Serafian, he looks like a guy, he likes to get the finish. So I'm probably going to go Serafian myself.
Yeah, Daniel Serafin was one of these guys. Me and Jake actually watch Tough Brazil every Sunday. That's how cool we are. We held hands together. No, we actually watched it every Sunday because they actually streamed it live on UFC.com before it came over to Fuel or FX or however they showed it. And Serafin was one of those guys that just really shined out. I mean, flying knee knockouts, submissions. Dudes looked like a beast. CB Dollaway has the horse face that makes some redneck sister look like a fucking dime bag. So
it's the face that looks like he just smelled a fart.
Oh, there you go.
Didn't know who did it. With the
Exactly. I hate CB Dalloway, and even though I hate him, he does have a decent set of skills. That being said, Mark Munoz knocked CB Dalloway the hell out, and Daniel Serafin has the skill set to really finish this guy. So I got Daniel Serafin by a stoppage. I'm going to say before the second round is up.
Yeah, yesterday when we talked about this match, I actually was leaning towards CB Dalloway, even though he is the underdog in Vegas. But since I've sort of changed my mind, Daniel Sarafian, he is very, very equipped on the mat. Even though Dalloway is pretty decent at those takedowns, American wrestling, he puts himself out there, he gets submitted, and I think Sarafian's going to be a good job reversing and sweeping Dalloway from the top, and he will get himself a submission victory in the second. Last fight, I've been looking for this fight so long. It's a very, very close matchup. You have the Brazilian Vitor Belfort going against the Count from UK, Michael Bisping. Really, plainly, who do you have in this middleweight fight that really has a lot of title contentions in that division?
Well, it doesn't have very many title contentions. If Michael Bisping wins, Dana White said he'd get the title shot, but powerful. Dana White saying someone gets the title shot is about as convincing as any actor out there that has tried to play a part they weren't equipped for. Definitely not going to happen. If Michael Bisping gets the shot, we're still going to see Anderson Silva in big money fights, and he's going to have to sit out and get another fight like Anthony Pettis against Clay Guida. This fight is such an enigma because we got Vitor, a guy that's on his last legs of his career. He still has the physical tools to hang in there, mentally strong, but he has that kind of breaking point where if he can't impose his will, he just crumbles. That being said, in his last fight against John Jones, he went 4 rounds with the champ. You know who can't say that? Shogun Hua, Machida, Vera, Matt Yashenko, Hamill, all these guys out there that couldn't go that long. I think that Vitor has really upped his game training with the Black Zillions, and I think that is the X factor in this fight. Michael Bisping has impressed the hell out of me as much as I love to hate that, wisecracking buttertooth Brit. That dude has come out and he's really upped his game and, looked really good against not only Brian Stan, but Chael Sonnen. So I think it comes down to that first round. If Vitor can crack Michael Bisping and put hands on his face, he's going to win. If he can't find that punch and it goes into the second round, Bisping takes over for a decision. So my heart says Vitor Belfort. My gut says Michael Bisping. I'm going to follow my gut and say Michael Bisping.
Nice one, Chris. You took literally the same things I was going to say. So what I'll add is that, I really, really, it sucks because I really want to see Belfort knock out Bisping, but then again, I've been waiting years to see Bisping finally get his title shot just so Anderson Silva tools the shit out of him and makes him look like a joke. One of the things I want to bring up that Chris said that I 100% agree with is that how Bisping has evolved as a fighter, and he's still an asshole as a person, and one of the biggest douchebags on the UFC roster as a person. But as a fighter, this guy, I secretly would become a pretty big fan of his, just based off his fighting. Another thing Chris said too is the heart says Vitor, the mind says Bisping. I'm definitely leaning towards picking Bisping just because it seems like the safer pick because, another thing Chris brought up was how, Belfort doesn't, finish it early. He definitely gets a little mind fucked and he'll get off his game plan and Bisping will just have his way with him.
Yeah, I gotta say, this one, I was leaning fucking Bisping all the way, but I just have to give you guys a little taste here of the word on the street. Something that I didn't actually report the rumor, but I've had it double sourced. Once it gets triple sourced, I usually go with it. I heard that fucking Michael Bisping broke his fucking hand a week or two ago. So I heard he's going into this one with glass hands, man. That is the word on the street that I heard. But even with that, he's still stepping up, so he must be feeling okay at least, or at least he's walking in for the paycheck. But I don't see Vitor putting him away. So I got to say, broken hand or not, fracture, whatever, sore hand, whatever it is, I just heard he fucked up his hand. I still have to go with Bisping on this, man. I think he's going to take it. It's going to be an upset right there in fucking Vitor's backyard. The tickets are already sold. Everybody bought the pay-per-view, so it's not going to be that big of a loss for UFC Brazil. But, yeah, I'm still going to go with Bisping despite what I am hearing. Word.
Damn. So much information to process, as if this fight wasn't hard enough for me to pick already. Chris took basically every point I think all of us were really hitting on. This is, if he finishing the first round, that's his most likely route to victory. Michael Bisping, generally it's accepted that the later this fight goes, the more it goes his way. So if he can survive that early Vitor storm, Michael Bisping can probably do it. Now, in light of those strong rumors we just heard from Ramses, God, it's so tough because this is a 5-round fight as well. We got to remember, this is a 5-round main event. I'm gonna have to go with my gut, which is telling me Vitor Belfort, in spite of how strong Michael Bisping has looked lately.
Yeah. For me, the X factor is really going to be how long the fight goes. If it's finished in the first round, early in the second round, I think Vitor wins. If it goes on later, I believe this is a 5-round match. If it goes on into the 4th and 5th round, I think Bisping is going to have the advantage. Belfort's gas tank is about as real as Manti Te'o's girlfriend. It doesn't exist. But even though I am pretty skeptical of Belfort's gas tank, I think those flurries are mighty dangerous, and I think Bisping gets caught by one of them in the second round for a finish. A little bit more Bellator updates before we sign off. Emmanuel Newton defeats Atanas Jambazov via second-round rear naked choke. J.J. Ambrose defeats Brian Warren via second-round guillotine choke. And Jason Lambert defeats Hector Ramirez via first-round submission. Straight up armbar.
What kind of submission?
That one.
Yeah.
Straight armbar. And, Jason Lambert gets the win there. Oh, yeah. So,
here's a quick question. Question before we move on. Who was Kevin James' body double in Here Comes the Boom? If you can tell me that without looking it up, 10 seconds, go.
Punisher, Jason Lambert.
There you go. Congratulations.
Damn.
You win.
Jason Lambert.
Oh, damn, son.
Oh, shit. Yeah,
what you
thank you.
That?
What do you know about that? I know I'm signing this shit out. Big thanks to the listeners for tuning in. The MMA Roundtable every Thursday, 7 to 9 Eastern, 4 to 6 Pacific. Patrick, you want to plug MMA Mental real quick?
Yeah, hell yeah. Love to plug MMA Mental. Ray and I, we love doing the MMA Podcast Roundtable every Thursday. Check out MMA Mental. We usually do our shows Wednesday and try and put them up the same day. So this past week we just had on a great group of guests. Everybody, please go check it out. The site administrators, they've made some good updates to MMA Mental. We've got all the brand new news feeds coming in. So please be sure to check it out, and of course check out the Word on the Streets in the MMA podcast.
Yeah, Ramses, you want another shout out for Word on the Street?
No plugs on my end. Just thank you to the MMA podcast and MMA Mental, Ray, Dave, Patrick, Chris, and fucking Jake, everybody. And I just want to say again, I will cede the shameless plug on my podcast, just to say 100 days. Chael Sonnen will become the light heavyweight champion of the UFC. 100 days, the Battle of Jersey, April 27th, UFC 159. Word on the Street, I'm out.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that episode, or that season of The Ultimate Fighter. The MMA podcast, we just had Chad George on. Next week, I think we're finally going to have Pride standout Lenny Hart, the famous announcer from there, on the show. She actually wanted to come on this past week, but we'd already made a deal with Chad George to come on. I didn't want to get too crowded, as most of our interviews recently have gone, past half an hour. Still had lots to talk about. But the MMA podcast, you can check us on Twitter, the MMA podcast, all one word, the MMA podcast. We do it every Wednesday, 9 to 11 Eastern, 6 to 8 Pacific. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thanks to MMA Mental. Thanks to our buddy Ramses from Word on the Street. Thanks to Buffalo Dave. Thanks to my co-host from the MMA podcast, Chris. Until next week, we gone.
We gone.
We did it for the love of the game. We did it, mama. I did it for. Yes, sir. Mama, we did it. The game will never be the same. We did it, mama. I did it for. Triumphant, born with pride and abundance. Look up to the sky, hide a little smile and amusement. Never grown accustomed to losing, live and die for the love of this music. Compel a thrive when the times are the toughest and truest. Keep in mind when the universe gets aligned, the remnants of this verse are injected into your spine. There'll be evidence of this platform, we rock it all the time. Better in what we stand for, the anchor and the line straight. Slap on a joke if anybody provokes. I'm in it to win and rep it for my fam and my folks. This ain't just rap now, man, this is murder he wrote. It's like Mickey D's on the streets. If you look in the code, you can compound your creed with an image of hope. Study the foul physics of falsified gimmicks. Ride and fall with it and try to ride different. Your life ain't worth living if you ain't got vision. Come on. We did it, mama. We did it. We did it for the love of the game. We did it, mama. We did it. I did it for. Yes, sir. Mama, we did it. The game will never be the same. We did it, mama. I did it for. Fucking alliance and tech planet rocking with Irish science. Silencing all these idiots caught up in all their ignorance. Two clans fighting under the same banner. We all got love for this ground game and that's all that matters. In the balance of the teachings of the grandmaster. I'm trying to master the system, that's what I'm after. And stay true to the craft, spark trees to relax. Old school lyrical lacing the track. And I'm working the angles always sharp and precise, man. Back in the day when I was learning and rocking this mic, paying homage to the classic shit. Dilated, undisputed heavyweights repping Los Angeles. And yeah, I do this for the 213. Historical flip down, you know I'm with that G. So fire in the hole.